Chapter 580. To be honest, they were all rich and upper-class people. What kind of woman had they not seen before? Beautiful women, they should be ordinary, right? Among the others, perhaps only the few people beside her had seen Murongqing, but Liao Jian was facing Murongqing, so he could see more clearly. Stunning. Incomparably stunning. His wife, all the women he had played with before, what were they? Even before this, he had been complacent because his wife was very beautiful. Yes, she was indeed very beautiful, but he had seen someone even more beautiful. He looked around and saw a young man beside the woman, who seemed to be much younger than her. He should not be her boyfriend. In other words, she might not be married yet. Even if she was married, or had a boyfriend, he should not be present. That was a little interesting. Of course, he was reluctant to part with this Lin and building, but he could tempt her with other things. Anyway, he was already interested. The people below were all trying to curry favor with him, joking and so on. They all knew how powerful Liao Jian was. 33 years old, the richest man in the entire Lin and city. At least in Lin and city, his family property was the most. His enterprises were the most. At least, almost all the people present here had cooperated with him, and they hoped to continue cooperating with him, because they would also make money. Although Liao Jian's company was founded by his father, and he was a rich second generation, the fact was that this company sat in the top position of Lin and city under his management. The construction of this Lin and building, they came to auction, not only to get the building, but also to sign a cooperation agreement with Liao Jian's company and the Liao's group. In fact, no one could say for sure if the final price of the auction was in line with the building, but the cost would definitely be higher, which was normal. However, if they could sign a cooperation agreement with the Liao's group, they would definitely make a profit. Liao Jian then said to them with a smile, "Everyone, please look at the big screen. This is some information about Lin and building. Of course, it's now called Lin and building. As for who will get it later and what it will be called, that's up to you." Then, Liao Jian said, "The building has a total of 32 floors and is made of the best materials. The entire building is covered with high technology. At the same time, there is an airport at the top of the building, which is responsible for the helicopter landing. Moreover, the entire building is powered by solar energy. The energy stored for a day can last for half a month. The entire building also has an extremely large defense system. Although it may be superfluous, in this era, the neighboring Tianhua city is in turmoil. Maybe Tianhua city will fall, and our Lin and city will become the first city close to the border with the demonic beast domain. Therefore, this defense system is very important." Everyone nodded in agreement. Lin Xian said, "This person is quite creative. Who in their right mind would spend so much money to build a defense system? That's not very useful. For example, the building where your sister is. Even if there is a defense system, if the entire city falls, will the defense system still be useful?" Lin Xian said, "That's true. However, if it's used to deal with special attacks, or even a sudden attack before retreating, it will be very useful." Moreover, he also said that there is an airport at the top of the building. He should be a very cautious person who will leave a way out for himself. The existence of the airport may not be for the helicopter to go somewhere, but to be able to escape in time of danger. Murongqing nodded slightly. This was indeed a person who would leave a way out for himself. That is to say, in fact, this building can really be used as a residence. Murongqing said slightly. This was a good idea. It might be very safe, but it was definitely not groundless fear, especially for the rich. The main thing was that this era was like this. They would rather spend more money to buy safety. Otherwise, flying spiritual weapons and defensive spiritual weapons would not be so rare and expensive. Did you think that this kind of spiritual weapon was rare? This was one point. The main thing was, they were all F*king with the rich. Did you think they were flying to experience flying? They were all F*king used to escape in case of a special situation. It was too extravagant. Liao Jian then continued, "The innermost room on the 32nd floor of the building is also the most special place in the entire building. Just this room alone cost more than 80 million yuan. Everyone was speechless. Mr. Liao, what kind of special room is this? Why did you spend so much money to strengthen it? Liao Jian smiled, and then the big screen showed an animation. Look, this is the part that I'm most satisfied with. This room is more like an independent place than a room in the skyscraper. The entire room is made of super miniature metal. In a word, this room is a fortress with super defensive ability. Zhang Tai said with a smile, "Look, everyone, this room is more like a fortress with super defensive ability." Everyone was dumbfounded. Liao Jian smiled and said, "Even if the entire building collapses, as long as you are in this room, even if the room falls from the 32nd floor, you will be fine. The room has a fixed position for the human body, and there are specially made reflective metal and reflective sponges. Even if you fall from a high distance, you will be fine. Its strength is enough to withstand the full blow of a domain realm expert." This. Mr. Liao, what's the meaning of this? Liao Jian smiled and said, "The meaning is great. If the demonic beasts suddenly rush in, even if you can't escape in time, you will be safe here. You just have to find the time to escape. This room and all the other floors can be used as living quarters. This is my suggestion. I just hope that the building I built can at least allow the owner to have the ability to survive in times of danger. Plus, in the current era with our location, this is a problem sooner or later. Do you still think this is unnecessary?" Everyone nodded. "That's true. We have indeed neglected this point. Although theoretically there is time to escape, if there is a special situation, it may not be so. For example, when Zhahai City was completely unprepared, a large number of demonic beasts rushed in, and there was also spatial teleportation. There was no time to defend at all. The demonic beasts rushed to every corner of Zhahai City in an instant. Escaping depends on fate. If there is such a place, it is indeed a guarantee for the lives of oneself and your family." Liao Jian nodded and said, "That's right. If there is a little time, this room has a direct passage to the rooftop. If there is a helicopter on the rooftop, we can also leave as soon as possible." Lin Xian was secretly speechless. It was not to say that he was worrying for nothing, because what he said was very reasonable, but there were too many theories. But Lin Xian liked this kind of building. He liked it very much. Chapter 581. If Lin Xian was asked to build a skyscraper or build his own home, Lin Xian would also choose to leave a way out for himself. Even if it wasn't for himself, he would give it to Linya. For example, leaving a way out for his own home. It was very, very important. Whether it was to deal with the monsters in the future, or the possibility of bad people sneaking into his home to commit murder, or to avoid danger, it was all very important. At least in this aspect, Lin Xian felt that Liao Jian was right. Of course, many people at the scene said that he was right and completely agreed with him. They felt that it was really unnecessary to spend so much money on groundless fears. Even if the monsters attacked, who would be stupid enough to hide in the skyscraper? They would have run away long ago. The so-called too late to escape did happen, but the probability was too small, right? If they were allowed to build it, they would definitely not do something unnecessary. However, they still had to buy it. This skyscraper was very important. In addition to its geographical value, it could also cooperate with Liao Jian. The money they would earn after the cooperation would definitely be more than what they invested now. Liao Jian then said, "This is probably the highlight of the skyscraper. I don't care if you want to build it into a business building, a work building, or even a place to live after taking over the building. In short, this skyscraper will protect your safety to the greatest extent. I suggest that you change the upper floors into your residence and the lower floors into an office building. The area of the 3 floors alone is much larger than a normal villa." Everyone nodded slightly. Well, that's all for now. Everyone must be hungry. Then, let's start the auction as soon as possible. Then, a series of data flashed on the big screen. The entire Lin and skyscraper, including all the renovations, completed facilities, technology, and land, has a comprehensive geographical advantage. At the same time, it is also a key partner of the Lin and city government. I think everyone knows how big the opportunity is to cooperate with the Lin and city government. The overall starting price is 2.5 billion yuan. Each bid must not be less than 10 million yuan. Let's start now. Liao Jian looked down with a smile. The bidding began, and a fierce competition began below. 2.51 billion. 2.52 billion. 2.53 billion. Lin Xian was speechless. I thought it would be worth at most 1 billion. I didn't expect the starting price to be 2.5 billion. Lin Xian really couldn't take it anymore. Fortunately, if what this person said is true, then this building is indeed worth a lot of money. It has top-notch materials, top-notch technology, special rooms, and a golden geographical advantage. Just the land alone is worth hundreds of millions. The cooperation with the government is also very important. I heard that the Liao family is also cooperating with them. The starting price is 2.5 billion, and the final price may be about 4 billion. At least if the future development is normal, and with the value of the building itself, it won't be a loss. Murong Qing was naturally experienced in the Jianghu, and she was also a businesswoman. Of course, she understood these things. Then why didn't the Liao family use this building? Murong Qing smiled and said, "You are too young. The so-called advantage is aimed at the people present here. For him, he certainly does not lack cooperation with the government, and he does not lack buildings. He would rather quickly raise the price by auction and sell it to others to make money quickly. For him, if he uses it himself, the value of this building will be less than half of what it was auctioned off. These people who play tricks are really dirty." Murong Qing smirked as she looked at Lin Xian and said, "One day, you'll be as filthy as this." To be precise, this is a situation that everyone is well aware of. But they still have to jump in because it's valuable to them. This is also unquestionable. Then what do you think? Lin Xian asked Murong Qing. Murong Qing certainly knew Lin Xian's thoughts and said, "If you really want it, I think it is a loss because in my opinion, you don't need the two important points of the cooperation between the government and the Liao family. Therefore, you may only spend about 4 billion to buy a building worth 2.5 billion. What do you think?" Lin Xian pondered slightly. "It is indeed so. But I have checked in Lin and city. In the past 6 months, there may be only one new building. If you don't choose this building, and you really want it, then you can only buy other old buildings. Although they are relatively old, they are still very good, and the price will be much lower." Lin Xian pondered slightly. "Of course, if you bid for this building, you will also have an advantage. This is well known. The geographical conditions are also very important. Although it is only a head office, if your company grows and sells the building, then the value will be very high. Normally, even if you buy it for 4 billion and don't cooperate with the Liao family, you won't lose out. Moreover, you will need a lot of factories, a lot of them. You can take this opportunity to discuss cooperation with the Liao family and the conquests. They can at least let you solve the problem of the factories relatively easily." Murong Qing continued. Lin Xian nodded. "Then let's bid. I have no problem with it. Anyway, you have 30 billion. That's right. Lin Xian had 30 billion. This 30 billion was not borrowed, but given to him by Murong Qing in exchange for 5% of the shares. Then why would he care about the money? It was not his. 30 billion for 5% of the shares of a company that had not yet been established. To be honest, there would not be a second such event in the world. But the main thing was that Murong Qing knew how profitable Lin Xian's business would be. She was losing out now, but in the future, 5% of the shares would be worth more than 30 billion. She believed that it was only a matter of time. Ouyang Jing, who was behind, was stunned when he heard the starting price. "The starting price is 2.5 billion. Is this third-tier city a group brain?" Originally, he thought that the total price would be about 1 billion, but who knew that the starting price would be 2.5 billion? Chen Mo said, "Although it is a third-tier city, the scale of this building is still very large. If it is an equivalent building in our Chengdu, the starting price may be more than 3.5 billion. With the Liao family, the cooperation with the conquests is also a very important point. It was true that they were very rich, but remember their identity. They were only the sons of the 8 great families and did not have any real power. Their money belonged to their families. At most, they earned it by relying on their family's power to do business. It was not a big problem to take out 1 billion, 1 billion, or 2 billion at once. But more than that, it was a bit unbearable. After all, their identity was like this. Even if it was the 8 great families, it was impossible for their children to casually take out tens of billions, right? So this building. Chapter 582. Ouyang Jing asked Chen Mo, "Young Master Chen, how much can you offer?" Chen Mo said, "My current assets are about 1.5 billion. I can get 2 billion at most, but I don't think it's necessary. We will definitely lose money. If we stop Lin Xian at a loss, we won't make a profit." Ouyang Jing sighed slightly. It was too expensive. It was indeed a loss to use this method. Moreover, they didn't care about this place at all. They would never spend time and effort to manage this building. That meant that if they won the bid, they would definitely lose money, and it would be a huge loss. To stop Lin Xian at a loss of hundreds of millions was simply an idiot. Previously, Zhao Nanfeng spent 1 billion. It was a lot, but he wouldn't lose money. He only needed time to earn it back. This time was different because the price might be a little high. That's not right. Why is Lin Xian auctioning this building? Ouyang Jing suddenly realized this. Chen Mo was the same. That's right. Although Lin Xian's family is better than ordinary people, it can only reach 100 million at most. This kind of billion-dollar auction is definitely not a place where he is qualified to come. What does he have to auction? Even the richest man in Tianhua City is just so. Moreover, why is he auctioning this building? They couldn't understand. Could it be that he followed that woman here? Their gazes fell behind Murong Qing. At this time, the price was still soaring, reaching 3 billion, but it was increasing by 10 million. Bid. I'm a little hungry. I want to have lunch. Murong Qing said to Lin Xian. Lin Xian nodded and raised his sign. 3.5 billion. Hiss. Everyone gasped and looked at Lin Xian. Although they expected the price to be more than 3.5 billion, he couldn't just raise it by 500 million, right? They were just testing the waters by increasing it by 10 million. Everyone looked at Lin Xian in unison. Lin Xian touched the tip of his nose. What's wrong? He just didn't want to raise the price by 10 million, it was too much of a waste of time. Sir, are you sure you want to raise the price by 500 million? The beautiful auctioneer confirmed. Lin Xian nodded. Yes, 3.5 billion. Wait. At this moment, a voice came from behind. Everyone turned around and saw Ouyang Jing standing up. He sneered and looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian also saw him. Well, as expected, he came with them. They were here to disgust people. Sir, what can I do for you? Liao Jian looked at Ouyang Jing. Ouyang Jing then said, What I mean is that the auction is fine, but we also need to know if there is anyone who can afford the price. I know this gentleman. His name is Lin Xian, and he is a citizen of Tianhua City. His family has some money, but his annual income is around 10 million. So I don't understand. How can he afford the price of 3.5 billion? To be honest, the difference between an annual income of 10 million and an auction of 3.5 billion was huge. Relying on the woman beside him? How could a woman from a third-tier city have the spare money to auction a building worth 3 to 4 billion? There were probably only a few people in the entire Tianhua City who could do that. Moreover, she was so young. Tianhua City couldn't be compared to Lin and City. After all, it was the most border city. Because of this, many people would give up on investing in this city. Hence, it was getting worse year by year. Among the hundreds of auctioneers present, half of them were here to buy soy sauce. The remaining half probably had loans to participate in this auction. The remaining half were those who had the ability to auction. However, Tianhua City was much weaker than this. Hence, he didn't think that Lin Xian had the ability to participate in the auction. Why would he bid then? In Ouyang Jing's eyes, he was more likely to be Liao Xian's burden. He was using him to raise the price and then take the money. Hearing Ouyang Jing's words, everyone was stunned. Your company's annual income was over 100 million, but you were not qualified to participate in this auction. An annual income of 10 million? That was even more impossible. In this kind of upper-class society, everyone was very cautious. When doing business, they would worry about the other party's methods and so on. Hence, when they heard this unusual sentence, they were all brainstorming. Could there be some kind of conspiracy in this? Liao Xian and everyone else looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian laughed, then looked at Ouyang Jing and said, I say, whether I have the ability to participate in this auction or not is none of your business, right? Yes, you're right. My family does have an annual income of 10 million, and it's not me, it's my sister. However, how do you know that I don't have the ability to participate in this auction? What if I don't have the ability to pay 5 billion? As everyone knows, auctions are legally binding. If I bid this price and can't afford it, I'm afraid I'll be in jail for the rest of my life. Little brother, aren't you being too ridiculous? Ouyang Jing's face darkened. However, because of this, no one else dared to bid. Lin Xian then raised another sign. 6 billion. Is there anyone else? If no one else, I'll pay. Whether or not I can afford it, you'll know soon enough. Liao Xian's face darkened. This person who suddenly spoke was courting death. Originally, the auction could go on step by step, but because of his words, these people began to have fear and doubt in their hearts, causing them to not dare to bid too much. If there was no group of people competing, then what was the point of bidding? Then how would the price be raised? He originally estimated it to be 4 billion, but now, 6 billion. Of course, 6 billion was still a profit in terms of cost, but who would complain about earning too much? He might lose the 400 million he had spent for nothing. As expected, Lin Xian raised the price by another 100 million, but no one followed. Ouyang Jing sat down with a gloomy face. I'd like to see if you can afford it. He, the young master of the Ouyang family of one of the 8 great families, could not afford this price. How could a piece of trash from a third-tier city afford it? Relying on the woman beside him? Then why did he have to bid? 6 billion, no one bid. 6 billion going once. Is there anyone else who wants to bid? The beauty swept her gaze across the crowd. 6 billion going twice. Is there anyone else who wants to bid? They wanted to, but for some reason, they did not dare to. This was not a few thousand or a few hundred, but a few billion. As long as they had the slightest doubt in their hearts, it would expand infinitely. If not, the entire family company would be finished. 6 billion going thrice. Bang! As the hammer closed, applause rang out in the hall. Liao Xian's expression softened a little. He was a little unhappy that 400 million was less than his estimate. But that was it. Out of 6 billion yuan, the construction cost was indeed 3 billion yuan. Although he had earned more than 1 billion yuan, it was not a loss for Lin Xian. He might be able to earn more than 1 billion yuan from them and the government. Chapter 583. Everyone looked at Lin Xian and the rest. Congratulations! Since ancient times, heroes come from the young. To be able to afford 6 billion at such a young age, it's really extraordinary. Yeah, us old people have to learn. For a moment, those people were exchanging greetings crazily. Liao Xian smiled and said, Congratulations to this gentleman for bidding 6 billion for Lin and building. Ouyang Jing's face turned ugly. That was because he saw the faint smile on Lin Xian's face. Could he really afford it? Pay up. After Lin Xian finished speaking, he walked over with Murong Qing and Ling Longyue. Ouyang Jing frowned. Could it be that this brat is still pretending to be a big-tailed wolf? Ouyang Jing found it unbelievable. The possibility is not high. What he said is not wrong. The bidding has legal effect. He wouldn't dare. Chen Mo said, "Let's go and take a look." Then they walked over. Lin Xian was signing a contract with Liao Jian and the transfer agreement. "Mr. Lin Xian, this is the building's property certificate, land certificate, and a series of documents. Please take a look. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask." Lin Xian did not understand these things. "Let me take a look." Murong Qing took it. Miss, may I ask who you are?" Liao Jian looked at Murong Qing. At such a close distance, he felt more deeply how charming this woman was. Never before had he felt so impulsive when facing a woman. This woman's beauty could make him lose his mind and do some things. As the old saying goes, femme fatale. This was not just a joke. When a woman's charm reached a certain level, even an emperor would be captivated and do some unimaginable things. This was also a precedent. Murong Qing smiled faintly and said, "I'm his secretary." Everyone, oh my God! This seemingly young man had actually found such a heaven-defying and charming secret technique? Was it just a simple secret technique? To be honest, no one believed it. After all, they were all CEOs of major companies, and they knew all too well what men were thinking. Which King CEO wouldn't want to find a beautiful secret technique to do something with? How many of those present hadn't done such a thing before? However, why was there such a huge gap between them? Lin Xian touched the tip of his nose. What was this woman trying to do? Not far away, Ouyang Jing and Li Qie were even more confused. Lin Xian's secret techniques? How could this be? When they were on the Star Cloud carriage, the relationship between them didn't seem like the relationship between a boss and a secret technique at all. Besides, what right did Lin Xian have to be the boss? Then, Murong Qing helped Lin Xian look through the contracts and said, "There's no problem. Just sign it." Then, Lin Xian signed his name and handed his ID card to them to make a copy. Murong Qing took out a card and handed it to Liao Jian. Liao Jian nodded to the woman next to him and completed the transaction in front of these people. "All right, our cooperation is officially complete. The other two of you can continue to cooperate with my Liao's group. At the same time, you will also cooperate with the government. These contracts are all clearly stated, and the documents are all here," Liao Jian said. Ka. Ouyang Jing clenched his fist. How could this be? 36 billion. And it was really a deal? He couldn't understand. He really couldn't understand. So much so that he made himself look like a clown. "Let's go." Then, he left the place angrily. He couldn't understand. He roughly knew Lin Xian's family background. It was possible for him to take out 100 million, a few hundred million, but a few billion? He really couldn't understand. He still had to investigate. Lin Xian nodded. "But now, I have something to trouble you with, President Liao." Liao Jian smiled and said, "Of course, no problem. You all can have lunch with me and have a good talk." Lin Xian nodded. Then, Liao Jian looked at the crowd and said, "Then I won't accompany you all. The lunch is already prepared. You can enjoy it as you wish. Mr. Lin, please." Then, they moved together to a private room in a 5-star hotel. The table was filled with delicious food, which made Ling Longyue happy. Sure enough, Lin Xian didn't lie to her. He brought her out to eat delicious food. Liao Jian didn't believe that Murong Qing was Lin Xian's secret technique. At his position, he was quite good at judging people. How could a secret technique have such an amazing temperament? This was definitely not a temperament that a secret technique could have. But no matter what, he had his eyes on this woman. He must think of a way to get his hands on her. The first thing he had to do was to please her. What did a woman want? Money. Care. In his opinion, it should be because Lin Xian was rich that she followed him. But he, Liao Jian, was also rich. As long as he treated her better than Lin Xian, wouldn't that be enough? Although Ouyang Jing said that Lin Xian's family was poor, everything was the truth. If he could take out 3.6 billion to buy this building, he was rich. This was the truth. So what if he played with her? A woman of this level, even if she had been played with many times, just based on her temperament, appearance, and figure, men would still go crazy for her. He had a wife at home, but if he could have a lover of this level, his life would be complete. Mr. Lin, do you have any questions? Liao Jian smiled and poured a glass of wine for Lin Xian. He wanted to give it to Murong Qing, but she refused. I'll just have a drink. Liao Jian didn't force it. Lin Xian said, it's like this. I'm preparing to build some factories in Lin and City. But I'm from Tianhua City and don't know anything about Lin and City. So I thought that since Mr. Liao is the boss of Lin and City, you must have some methods, right? I thought it would be something big. Liao Jian smiled and said, Mr. Lin, factories are a piece of cake. What can't you do with money? Lin Xian shook his head. I don't mean to build, but to get the existing factories. That's easy. There are many factories that can't work. Just give them money and let them leave tomorrow. Lin Xian said, I understand that, but Mr. Liao, you don't understand my real meaning. I mean that you're familiar with this area and know which places are suitable. Also, I need a large number of factories. A large number? How many? A few dozen. Liao Jian frowned. What was he trying to do? He directly auctioned a 3.6 billion building and then a few dozen factories. A few dozen was just the beginning. He might need hundreds in the future. At least in the early stage, Lin Xian had hundreds of millions of Adonis points. A few dozen factories weren't enough, but it was enough for now. There's an industrial area in the suburbs of Lin and City. It's quite big. Mr. Lin, you can go there and take a look. Most importantly, it's easy to do anything with money. Liao Jian smiled. Chapter 584. Money? Of course not. The beauty beside him was a pure rich woman. Anyway, whether it was buying a building or doing something else, Lin Xian did not need to spend a single cent. It all belonged to Murong Qing. Who would be so King comfortable? Murong Qing did not feel any heartache. She only needed to know that now that she had no money, she could earn more in the future. She had originally come to work with Lin Xian to get Lin Xian's formula so that the holy sanctum could develop. In the end, they had indeed worked together. She did not expect that 30 billion in exchange for 5% of the shares. She was drunk. But she could not force others. If it was fated, it would be fated. If it was not, one should not force it. The industrial area. Most of them are still in business. This is a bit difficult. Murong Qing rubbed her delicate chin and said. Liao Jian heard Murong Qing's words and quickly said, No problem. I will take you to the industrial area in the afternoon. As long as there is money, it will be fine. Of course, with my face, I will not let you lose much. But since most of them are still in business, I naturally have to give them some benefits. Thank you, Mr. Liao. Lin Xian smiled and raised his glass. Here's to you. Liao Jian smiled and clinked glasses with them. But Liao Jian looked hesitant. He looked at Lin Xian and Murong Qing. It's like this. After all, I have some status in Lin and City. They will also give me face. I can only say that I did it. So when the time comes, I will have to trouble Miss Murong to impersonate my secret technique. Murong Qing smiled faintly and said, No problem. Then Mr. Lin, what do you think? Lin Xian said, No problem, I'll let her follow you. I won't go either. Murong Qing can represent my wishes. Of course, Lin Xian knew what Liao Jian meant. Liao Jian wanted to send him away so that he could be alone with Murong Qing. This was also the reason why he was so attentive. Morong Qing also knew that she deliberately said this. Anyway, Lin Xian was relieved that Liao Jian would not be able to take advantage of Morong Qing. He would even be charmed by her. She was a seductress. Women. Femme fatale. Hearing Lin Xian's words, Liao Jian was overjoyed. He didn't expect to be able to send Lin Xian away so easily. The afternoon would be his home ground. Then, Lin Xian pretended to look at Morong Qing and said, "Follow Mr. Liao this afternoon and do a good job. I'll leave the money with you. Do a better job." "Yes, boss." Morong Qing chuckled. She had to hand it to him. She had to run with him, spend her money, and put in the effort. But how should I put it? One was willing to hit while the other was willing to be hit. All right, I'll contact the directors and bosses of the major factories in the industrial zone after dinner and gather them together. Since Chief Lin is willing to trust me, I'll naturally help you settle this matter properly. In the future, there will be a lot of cooperation between us. Liao Jian smiled. Then I'll have to trouble you, Mr. Liao. Liao Jian was very curious as to why Lin Xian wanted so many factories at the same time. What kind of business did he want to do? Did he want to start with such a big business? But he didn't care about these. He only cared about Morong Qing. This woman, if he could do it once, he would be willing to give up a year of his life. This wasn't an exaggeration. She was just a secretary. How could she be clean? So, after this afternoon, he would have a private chat with Morong Qing, have a meal, and give her more benefits. Wouldn't that be the end of it? In the afternoon, Morong Qing followed Liao Jian. Lin Xian brought Ling Longyue out to play. In the past, Lin Xian would only take her out for a meal. But in the afternoon and evening, Lin Xian brought her to various amusement parks, video game rooms, scenic spots, and even disco dancing. Ling Longyue was overjoyed. As for Ling Longyue's favorability towards Lin Xian, because of playing for an afternoon and half a night, her favorability had reached 42. After all, she was still a little girl. She was easily satisfied. If you treated her well, she would be able to feel it. When they returned to the hotel, it was already 11 p.m. Ling Longyue was tired from playing. The hotel was the Rose Paradise Presidential Suite. Lin Xian, where are we going to play tomorrow? Ling Longyue laid on the bed and looked at Lin Xian with anticipation. Tomorrow? I don't know. Let's see how it goes. He had to stay in Lin and City for a few more days to finish up the factories. So, he had to play. It could be considered a vacation for himself. I want to rest. You can go back first. Go back for what? Lin Xian said with a smirk. Go back and rest. We still have to play tomorrow. Can't I rest here? This room is so big. Ling Longyue, go to hell. Stinking hooligan. Hurry up and leave. Lin Xian then left helplessly. Stinking hooligan. Ling Longyue pouted her lips and her face was actually a little pink. Lin Xian returned to his room and chatted with Morong Qing. It turned out that Morong Qing was watching a movie with Liao Jian. This matter was not completely settled yet. They still needed this Liao Jian. If it was just Lin Xian alone, he could get these factories. However, it would take more time. Thank you for your hard work. Lin Xian sent a message to Morong Qing. Go to hell. Even if I started my own business, when did I end up like this? It's all because of you. How are you going to compensate me? Of course, Morong Qing was unhappy. You can compensate me however you want. Then, 5% more shares? Lin Xian, my phone is dead. I'm going to sleep. Goodbye. Morong Qing. Bastard. F*ck. Bastard. I want to beat him up. However, Lin Xian felt comfortable. This Morong Qing and Liao Jian had bought a total of 13 factories in the afternoon. Of all sizes, 13 was actually not bad. However, Lin Xian wanted at least 25. It should be done by tomorrow. However, the money spent was not small. close to 800 million. However, it did not belong to Lin Xian. Comfortable. Therefore, Lin Xian really wanted to thank Morong Qing. However, shares. He still could not give her more. The next morning, Lin Xian brought Ling Longyue downstairs for breakfast. He saw Morong Qing already sitting in the corner. Morning. Lin Xian smiled and walked over. Morong Qing rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. Morning? The 13 contracts are in my room. I'll bring them to you later. There's no hurry. Do you think I don't trust you? Lin Xian smiled. I have a big problem with you. Lin Xian smiled. Why? Did Liao Jian take advantage of you last night? He dares? You bunch of stinky men are all the same. Morong Qing stretched her body. Instantly, many people who were secretly sizing her up stared at her. Even though Lin Xian had been with her for a long time, her charm still had a huge impact on Lin Xian. Today is the last day. It should be done. Tell me, how are you going to compensate me? Morong Qing looked at Lin Xian. Chapter 585. The current Lin Xian did not have the idea of developing gene potions, at least not now. Even if he wanted to, it could only be diluted in small amounts, and he did not have the materials. But there would definitely be in the future. Because Lin Xian needed new things to gain the expectations and love of the people of the mainland. Morong Qing said, I can probably find a few dozen 3-star rainbow berries for you, but you will have to pay for it, and the price will not be cheap. No problem, you still have a lot of that 30 billion. Morong Qing rolled her eyes. It was still her money, but it was already equivalent to Lin Xian's money. As for the 9-colored spirit lotus, I should be able to get 4 or 5. This kind of spiritual item may not be the best in terms of heaven and earth spiritual energy, but it is rare. There are not many of them in the human race, and most of them are in the demon race. But the demon race is also rare. 4 or 5. A single petal of a 9-colored spirit lotus could be developed into a bottle of gene potion. A single 9-colored sacred lotus could produce 9, but after diluting, it could produce 90. But the effect was naturally not strong, only about 5%. Lin Xian thought that if it was diluted to 5%, then a single 9-colored spirit lotus should be able to produce more than a few hundred. This was still quite impressive. But compared to the others, which were tens of millions, or even hundreds of millions, there was no comparison. But the value was definitely thousands of times higher. However, for those martial artists, even a 1% increase in attribute purity would make them so happy that they wouldn't be able to sleep for 3 days. Between a 1% increase in attribute purity and a 100 points increase in attribute purity, most people would choose the latter. However, those who truly understood would choose the former. 4 or 5, how many can you develop? Morong Qing asked. That depends on how much you want to improve. The limit should be 30%. Morong Qing revealed a shocked expression. So much? 30%, what kind of concept was that? Lin Xian nodded. But it's too precious, so we'll have to dilute it when the time comes. My idea is to dilute it until it increases by about 5%, but we'll talk about that later. I don't want to do that now. We'll have to use it at a critical moment. Morong Qing said, 5% is already very heaven-defying. Basically, from birth to the end, all martial artists will not have any increase in attribute purity. Without that opportunity, even a large family would find it difficult to achieve. Let alone 5%, even 1%, those people would rather spend an unimaginable price to obtain it. You must know that a 1% increase in attribute purity is very exaggerated for martial artists, especially those with rare attributes. Of course, this increase will only appear when the realm is higher. There is almost no difference between the lower levels. Of course, Lin Xian understood this as well. Therefore, a 5% increase in attributes was already heaven-defying. That. Morong Qing suddenly became somewhat bashful. I say, pretty sister, if you have something to say, just say it. This isn't you. Lin Xian said with a smile. Morong Qing then looked at Lin Xian and said, even if you don't sell it for the time being, can I ask you to develop a gene enhancement medicine for me? My attribute purity is still considered strong, at 80%, but maybe you can increase it to 100%. For Murong Qing, the temptation was simply too great. Just give me the money. Of course, no problem. Murong Qing said with surprise. Even if it was 10 billion, 100 billion, if it could increase her attribute purity to 100%, she would be willing. There would not be a second chance in this world. Even if she had to go bankrupt, she would not hesitate. Anyway, she could still earn it back. As for attribute enhancement, this might be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. What attribute? Lin Xian asked. At that time, he could use her attributes to experiment and develop gene enhancement medicine. Time. Lin Xian. Damn. Time. You have a time attribute? Lin Xian looked at her in surprise. Murong Qing nodded. Yes. Murong Qing should be the only time attribute that Lin Xian had seen so far. In Lin Xian's opinion, the time attribute was rarer than the space attribute. Although the level was the same, Lin Xian had seen the space attribute, but he had never seen the time attribute. The fact was indeed so. The time attribute was rarer than the space attribute. It was so rare that it could be counted on one's fingers. You don't believe me? Look. Murong Qing pointed outside the window and then snapped her fingers. Outside the window, the leaves of the trees were blown by the wind. Suddenly, time seemed to be frozen, and the scene froze. A small area, targeted time stop. Lin Xian was used to the space attribute, and it was indeed powerful. But now, he really wanted the time attribute. The time attribute was also very powerful. Amazing. It's okay. It's too difficult to cultivate. But I have the advantage of high attribute purity. In human history, I am the only one with a time attribute purity above 60%. Lin Xian. Amazing. But because of you, I might be able to reach 100%. Murong Qing looked at Lin Xian. But 9-colored spiritual lotus, which was the gene enhancement medicine that he developed himself, should not have space and time to improve. In other words, Lin Xian could only use the Adonis system to exchange. He was a little reluctant. 5 million Adonis points. That would be 5 million sets of medicine. If it was diluted by half, it would be 10 million sets. By then, the price of one set would be more than 1,000, right? Damn. That would be 10 billion. Damn. Was he going to exchange it for her just like that? No way. He was reluctant. Let her use 10 billion to buy it. Lin Xian believed that she was willing, but, most importantly, earning 10 billion directly from Murong Qing and selling 10 million copies to earn 10 billion were two different concepts. Lin Xian would definitely choose the latter because he would be able to get more from it. Other than money. To be honest, if I develop it myself, I don't have space and time genetic medicine. Lin Xian said. Murong Qing's beautiful eyes flashed with a trace of disappointment, but it was also within her expectations. These two types, as well as the dark and light attributes, although they were all attributes, they were something that couldn't be explained clearly. Unlike water, fire, and lightning, which had physical properties, darkness, light, space, and time. Was this something that could be created with 9-colored spiritual lotus? She felt that it was impossible. All right, it's not that easy. Murong Qing said faintly. I'm going back to sleep. Tomorrow, let's sort out the things here and then go back. Murong Qing walked away after finishing her words. When she reached the door, Lin Xian's voice came again. But I didn't say that it can't be improved. Murong Qing was stunned for a moment and suddenly turned around. What do you mean? Lin Xian laughed. Although I can't develop it, I have something that I don't need to develop. You can think of it as the main body of the attribute enhancement medicine. Chapter 586. In fact, Murong Qing did not have much hope. The time and space attributes were almost impossible to increase on Sky Blue Planet, let alone with potions. So when she heard Lin Xian's words, Murong Qing believed him. But when Lin Xian said he could do it, are you playing with me? Murong Qing frowned and asked. Why would I play with you? You've helped me so much. If I lie to you, am I still a man? That's true. Then Murong Qing smiled and came over. How much? I'll buy it. It's free. Lin Xian said. What? Murong Qing was stunned again. She knew how precious this thing was. Lin Xian didn't want money? Then give it to me. Murong Qing smiled impolitely. Okay, I said I don't want your money. But I want something else. Lin Xian smiled. He knew it wouldn't be that easy. Murong Qing rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. Say it. As long as I have it, I'll give it to you. To Murong Qing, this thing was too important. Moreover, when the purity of any attribute reached 100%, there would be a qualitative change. Time was no exception. Perhaps its strength would be greatly increased. It was needless to say that it would increase her strength. It's simple. You have it. What? You have it. Lin Xian said with a smile. Murong Qing. Lin Xian did not forget that Murong Qing was also his mission target. So, even if he helped, he had to get her, right? Once he got her, Lin Xian would not even ask for money and would give her the attribute-increasing potions. Brother, are you serious? Murong Qing rolled her eyes at Lin Xian and said, Yeah. Look, you're so beautiful and charming. Wherever you go, people will turn their heads. If I had such a beautiful girlfriend, I would be overjoyed. Murong Qing sat on the sofa in Lin Xian's hotel room and poured herself a glass of red wine. You men are really pig trotters. Then she smiled and took a sip. It's normal. This is a man. Lin Xian smiled and sat beside her. Anyway, how should he put it? Murong Qing never took Lin Xian's words seriously. Forget it. Didn't you say that you already have Han Chuxue and Ling Ying? No, I remember that Han Chuxue's mother came to Tianhua City specifically for this. You should be her boyfriend, right? Although she didn't dare to believe it, Han Chuxue's mother had come in person. To be honest, she had no choice but to believe it. Moreover, she knew Ouyang Jing and Chen Mo. They were also one of Han Chuxue's suitors in Tiandu. In addition, they were also here. Lin Xian's relationship with Han Chuxue was indeed extraordinary. It's not. Lin Xian touched the tip of his nose. Although he really wanted to admit it, if he did, it would be almost impossible for him to win Murong Qing's heart. Therefore, Lin Xian could only continue to be a scumbag. His heart was very uncomfortable, but there was not much he could do. Oh. Murong Qing smiled and crossed her legs. She was wearing a knee-length skirt. She would not be exposed, but it made people want to take a look. Murong Qing saw Lin Xian's eyes. Where are you looking, little hooligan? If she did not have a favorable impression of Lin Xian, she would be angry. The main thing was that she had a favorable impression of him. She just pouted and rolled her eyes. Then, she silently put her legs down. Is this the man you were talking about? Lin Xian touched the tip of his nose. Seriously, I really want the attribute-increasing potion. If you really have it, I am willing to spend 10 billion or even 100 billion. Murong Qing looked at Lin Xian seriously and said, But, I said, I don't want your money. Murong Qing. Could it be that this brat was really thinking about her? She could not say that she had high standards, but her standards were not low either. Anyway, although it looked very tempting, she cared more about her purity than anyone else. Otherwise, she would have been in a relationship until now. She was like Ling Ying and Han Chuxue. However, people who did not know her well would think that she was a loose woman. Go, you dare to tease me? Why? Didn't you tease me often in the past? Lin Xian laughed. Then, how about I accompany you for a night? Murong Qing suddenly said seductively. Lin Xian swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Actually, it's not impossible. Let's just do it in this room. What do you think? Murong Qing, go. I am going to sleep. Murongqing rolled her eyes at Lin Xian and stood up. Think about it again. After saying that, she walked away. Lin Xian secretly touched his forehead. What should I do now? Lin Xian had a headache. This Murongqing was a bit difficult to pursue. The main thing was that Lin Xian did not dare to tease her. It was that kind of feeling. Although her favorability had indeed reached 20 points, which wasn't considered low, Lin Xian was very clear about her character. She might seem like a loose person, but in fact, if Lin Xian really went to tease her or take liberties with her, she would most probably be angered and her favorability would be affected. Therefore, he could not be anxious. Anyway, he had already thrown out the olive branch and told her that he had a way to improve her time attribute. She would only be more curious and concerned. That's right, Murongqing was a bit confused. After she returned to her room, she lay on her bed. So annoying. Murongqing punched her pillow. She did not know how long it had been since she acted like a little woman. On one hand, she really wanted to improve her attribute strength. On the other hand, she could not really do what Lin Xian said, right? Lin Xian was not her boyfriend. So, could she let him do it? Forget it. Although she felt that this kid was not bad, he was 5 or 6 years younger than her. She did not want to be an old cow eating young grass. She did not care much about a person's family background. She only cared about whether she liked it or not. Because her family background was already heaven-defying, and her family did not care about her love life. As long as she liked it, it was fine. The key was that she had not met anyone that she liked. But really, Lin Xian seemed to be the first person of the opposite sex that she wanted to interact with in all these years. This was because there was something special about him that she had never seen before. This young man always did not play by the rules. Most importantly, there was something about him that she could not see through. There was a saying that when a girl started to be curious about a guy, that was the beginning of her fall. Yes, she was starting to be curious, but it was a bit difficult for her to accept it. In short, now it all depended on Lin Xian's methods. The one who was suffering the most now was that Liao Jian. What was going on? He had spent so much time cultivating his relationship with Murongqing, but he had not even touched her hand yet. He still had to help with things. This was the most F***king unbearable. For the next day, they continued to stay in Lin and City and did almost all the things that needed to be done. Murongqing made a few phone calls in Lin and City, the surrounding cities, and even further places. She bought a large amount of raw materials and then transported them to the big warehouse in Lin and City. Murongqing's channels were still amazing. She had people in every city. Anyway, she only needed to make a few phone calls. Now, they only needed to transport the equipment and they could start operating. At 1 o'clock in the middle of the night, Lin Xian received a call from Ling Ying. Tianhua City has fallen. Chapter 587. Lin Xian almost dropped his phone. Tianhua City had fallen? Hello? What's the situation? Lin Xian hurriedly asked. Ling Ying also said anxiously, I don't know. Suddenly, a large number of beasts swarmed in. There were already many experts guarding outside, but the appearance of the beasts was too sudden. Suddenly, an unimaginable number of beasts surrounded Tianhua City. There was no time to defend. In just a few minutes, the barrier was broken and the beasts swarmed into Tianhua City. It was already impossible to defend. I only found out after being woken up. Lin Xian's heart sank. Ling Ying, protect little fairy well. I'll go back now. I know. Then, Lin Xian hurriedly hung up the phone. Tianhua City had fallen. This was something Lin Xian never expected. But he should have thought of it earlier. The disappearance of the beasts was a sign of something. However, how did these demonic beasts suddenly appear in every corner of Tianhua City without any warning? No one could understand. If they didn't appear in large numbers, how could such a well-guarded place fall in an instant? And the beginning of a city's fall was when the beasts swarmed into the city. When the beasts swarmed into the city, it was basically already fallen. It was almost impossible to fight back. At that time, the people's hearts would crumble. And in the city, there were too many people and it was too chaotic. Human martial artists were afraid of hurting the civilians and didn't dare to go all out. But the beasts didn't have to worry. Perhaps Lin Xian had already thought of this, but it was too sudden. It was really too sudden. Lin Xian thought that they would have to fight no matter what. But he never expected that within a few minutes, the barrier would be broken and the beasts would enter Tianhua City. Tianhua City should be gone. Now, Lin Xian probably didn't care about this. He was only worried about everyone's safety. Nothing must happen. Whoosh! Lin Xian rushed to Ling Longyue's room and released his spatial attribute to enter. Ling Longyue was lying on the bed. She didn't look like a lady at all. She was sleeping soundly. Get up, get up. Lin Xian patted her back and Ling Longyue flipped over, smacked her lips and went back to sleep. Lin Xian. No, wasn't this expert very vigilant? His divine sense was very strong. What could he sense from far, far away? Why didn't she wake up? Pa. Lin Xian used a lot of strength this time, mainly because he was too anxious. Ling Longyue sat up abruptly, her sleepy eyes half opened as she looked at Lin Xian. When he saw Lin Xian, he suddenly opened his eyes. Bastard! Die! A surge of power condensed subconsciously. No, no, no. I have something to do. It's urgent. Lin Xian said anxiously. Ling Longyue then quieted down. It was mainly because she saw that Lin Xian's expression was indeed very anxious. Tianhua City has fallen. Ah! Ling Longyue was puzzled. A large number of demonic beasts have attacked Tianhua City. Tianhua City has already fallen. Ling Longyue frowned slightly. You humans are so weak. Don't you have so many experts protecting you? Lin Xian shook his head. I don't know the details. It was just a few minutes ago. In just a few minutes, it has already fallen. I have to go back now. I'll send you back. Lin Xian nodded. He came to find Ling Longyue because of her space attribute. She could bring them back faster. Wait, I'll call Murong Qing. Although it was urgent, he couldn't be in a hurry. Murong Qing had the time attribute. She must be a powerful expert. With her help, Lin Xian was confident. At least, he was confident that he could protect everyone. This time, Lin Xian wasn't in a hurry. He used his phone to call Murong Qing. She picked up almost instantly. Hello. Before Lin Xian could say anything, a voice came from the other side. I heard. I'll wait for you at the entrance of the hotel. Murong Qing hung up after saying that. Obviously, she was more well-informed than Lin Xian. Then, Lin Xian brought Ling Longyue to the entrance of the hotel. Murong Qing was already standing there. Let's go. Then, the three of them disappeared from the spot. The continuous space jump allowed them to arrive outside Tianhua City in a short period of time. Oh my God! Murong Qing was shocked when she saw this scene. To be honest, she had never experienced such a situation before. She had only heard of it and seen it before. This was the first time she saw it so clearly. She was still shocked. In her line of sight, the demonic beasts were so dense that it was hard to imagine. The battlefield was no longer outside Tianhua City. Instead, it was inside Tianhua City. The demonic beasts had already attacked inside. These demonic beasts were pouring in large numbers. Only God knew what was going on inside. Lin Xian frowned. Do you want to follow me? Lin Xian asked Murong Qing. Murong Qing nodded. I'll follow you. Thanks. Then, Lin Xian looked at Ling Longyue. Ling Longyue roughly understood Lin Xian's meaning. Then, the three of them disappeared from the spot and appeared in Ling Ying's house. Xiao Xian. At home, Lin Ye and Ling Ying were still there. When they saw Lin Xian, Lin Ye quickly ran over and hugged Lin Xian. It's okay, it's okay. Lin Xian patted her back. What's the situation now? Lin Xian asked Ling Ying. Ling Ying said, Everything happened too suddenly, and it's late at night. We were completely unprepared. Even now, we don't know how the large number of demonic beasts did it. It's like a spatial teleportation, sending a large number of them out of Tianhua City. We didn't have time to defend and fell. Lin Xian walked to the window and looked out. The crowd was densely packed and screaming as they tried to escape. The cars couldn't move at all. Some of them even knocked into people and other cars. It was total chaos. The demonic beasts had yet to attack, but there were already a few flying demonic beasts in the sky attacking the humans. Some even came out from the ground. In short, this time, the number of casualties in Tianhua City was probably the highest in history. It was late at night, and everyone was sleeping. They were completely unprepared. The three major forces didn't even have time to notify them. The demonic beasts attacked the city in a few minutes. In such a situation, it was like a super earthquake in the middle of the night. A large number of reinforcements would require a lot of time. Even if they came, it would be difficult. Ling Longyue, do you have enough spiritual energy? Ling Longyue nodded. It's just a few 100 kilometers of spatial jump. It won't take much. Then I'll have to trouble you to send them back to our hotel. Ling Longyue nodded. I won't go first. Send Sister Lin Ye over first. Ling Ying looked at Lin Ye and said to Lin Xian. Lin Xian hesitated for a moment. Ling Ying definitely wanted to fight. Okay. Lin Xian then looked at Lin Ye and said, Little fairy, let Ling Longyue send you to Lin and City first. Chapter 588. Lin Ye bit her lips. Xiao Xian. Don't worry, Ling Ying and I will try our best to fight for it. Even if Tianhua City might fall, we still have to try. If we can save one more person, we'll save one more second. Don't worry, I'll do what I can. You don't have to worry about your safety. Go back and have a good rest. I'll be back in the morning. Lin Ye knew that no matter what she said to Lin Xian, he wouldn't listen. She wasn't the kind of person who would cry and throw a tantrum. She knew that her existence would only restrict Lin Xian's actions. You must be careful. Xiaoying, you all must be careful. They nodded, and then Ling Longyue and Lin Ye disappeared. Lin Xian looked down at the chaotic scene outside with a frown. Morong Qing didn't know what to say, so she just stood there and watched with him. Ling Ying came to Lin Xian's back and pulled on his clothes. Lin Xian, what do you want to do now? Lin Xian said, the battle at the edge of Tianhua City must have already started. Maybe we don't have the qualifications to go there. It's too chaotic and we can't do anything. What we can do is to try and buy more time for the people who are escaping. There were people from the three major forces evacuating here, but they couldn't make it in time to deal with the unprepared people in the city. It was too chaotic. When a disaster broke out, it would be like this. Morong Qing walked over and drew a circle on the window. This is Tianhua City. The edge is the largest battlefield. Even if it suddenly fell, a large number of martial artists have already gathered their forces. She then pointed at an area and said, this is the center of Tianhua City, which is where we are. Relatively speaking, it's still relatively safe. The main thing is that the counties outside of Tianhua City have probably been completely attacked by demonic beasts. That's not the main battlefield. After the main battlefield, there will be many demonic beasts, and the casualties will be very heavy. If you want, those places can be considered. Let's go and gather everyone. They probably don't want to leave. Lin Xian's phone kept ringing. Lin Xian. Lu Yufan's frightened voice could be heard. Lin Xian said, you live with E, right? Where are you now? Hurry up and run. Lu Yufan said fearfully. Lin Xian then said, gather your family, E, and E's family as soon as possible. I will bring a friend and rush over immediately to send you all to Lin and City. Then, what about you? Don't ask, just do it. Then, Lin Xian hung up and called Wang Xintong. She was at home now. Wait for me at home. Don't go out yet. I want to fight. Wang Xintong bit her lip and said, Yes, I know. I'll guide you. Lin Xian then called Miao Xiaomiao. They all wanted to fight. But Yi Yi and Lu Yufan couldn't. Their realms weren't high enough. Absolutely not, so they had to leave. There was also Xiao Runing. Lin Xian called her, but she didn't pick up. Miss Xiao might have gone to the front line or fighting in a county near the border. Ling Ying said softly. Lin Xian believed in Xiao Runing's strength, but in such a battle, even a domain realm cultivator might not be able to survive. It was not a problem if they wanted to run, but if they wanted to keep fighting, then it might not be so. A domain realm cultivator couldn't beat 1,000 mystic heaven realm cultivators. Of course, that was just a saying. After all, a domain realm cultivator could still release a big move to kill a large number of monsters. But what if they didn't have enough spiritual power? Other than them, Lin Xian didn't seem to have anything to pay attention to, right? There was also Han Chuxue. She didn't need to think too much. They must be together. Zhang Tian and Wang Fugue were both in Tianhua City. With their ability and family background, it was definitely not a problem for them to escape. As for the others, they should be fine. If the ones he was worried about were safe, Lin Xian would be relieved. The rest were those who had the ability to fight for humanity. With them together, Lin Xian would be relieved. Lin Xian, I've thought about it. I'll go to the front line. I'm the law enforcement officer of the Sacred Palace. I have an obligation. Murong Qing looked at Lin Xian and said. Lin Xian nodded. Okay, you must pay attention to your own safety. Murong Qing laughed. Why? Are you worried about me? Of course. Protect yourself well. With that heavenly venerable powerhouse, I'm relieved. Let's go. Then, Murong Qing walked out. Chuxue is already on her way. Ling Ying said softly. Yes, everyone needs to do something, even if it's dangerous. Ling Longyue probably wouldn't help them fight because she was a demon. She was neutral, but she would at least protect Lin Xian and the others. At least we can do something. Looking at the chaotic scene outside, to be honest, anyone would be worried. Children's cries, women's screams, helpless cries. Ling Longyue's figure appeared. Who else? Ling Longyue asked. There are still a few friends. I'll bring you there. Ling Ying, wait here first. Then, the two of them disappeared and appeared in the villa where Lu Yufan and the others were. There weren't many people in the villa. Those people quickly drove away. Old Lu, why aren't you running? Hurry up and leave. A car stopped in front of Lu Yufan's villa. A person poked his head out and said hurriedly, You guys go first. I don't know what you guys are waiting for. Hurry up and leave. In less than 2 hours, I'm afraid a large number of demon beasts will attack our Tianhua city. Lu Yufan's father, Lu Yun, said, Old Zhao, you go first. Then I'll go. Then, the car sped away. Old Lu. Another voice came. Yi Nantian brought Yi Yi and Yi Yi's mother over. Old Yi. Lin Xian told us to wait here, didn't he? Yi Nantian asked. Lu Yun nodded. Yes. Although they didn't know what Lin Xian wanted to do, they admired Lin Xian. Plus, their daughter strongly wanted to believe in Lin Xian. So, they really waited. Sigh, I didn't expect Tianhua City to have such a day. It's too sudden. Yi Nantian sighed. Lu Yun nodded. Yes, it's too sudden. Maybe this day will come sooner or later. But with such a degree of suddenness, I'm afraid the casualties in Tianhua City will be unimaginable. But, how is Lin Xian going to help us? Could it be that he has the transportation of the 3 major forces? This was their guess. They felt that it was most likely. If it was the transportation of the 3 major forces, it would be quite safe. Now, the 3 major forces were using a large number of transportation to bring the refugees away. But there were too many people. Tianhua City had millions of people. It was impossible for them to make it in time. Shuai, Lin Xian and Ling Longyue arrived. Chapter 589. Lin Xian. Lu Yufan and Yi Yi were pleasantly surprised when they saw Lin Xian. Lin Xian was worried about them, and they were also worried about Lin Xian. Lu Yun and his wife and Yi Nantian were also surprised when they saw Lin Xian. How did the two of them get here? Space attribute? That's right. Space attribute. Lin Xian walked over and quickly said, "I'll ask my friend to send you guys away first, Ling Longyue." Ling Longyue nodded. Lin Xian, are you saying you'll let her go? Yi Nantian thought he heard wrongly. How is that possible? Lin Xian said, she has the space attribute and is very strong. She can send you guys to Lin and City in a short time. Once you guys are there, you will be safe. Yi Nantian and Lu Yun were shocked. That was a few hundred kilometers. Yes, now that the civilians were escaping from Tianhua City, they still had to go through the beast territory, which was a few hundred kilometers away. That area might not be as dangerous and chaotic as the beast territory, but it might still be very dangerous. They might even lose their lives there. After all, most of the civilians were not strong enough. Lin Xian, what about you? Lu Yufan asked worriedly. I'll stay here and help. If you guys aren't strong enough, don't follow. Lin Xian knew what Lu Yufan wanted to say. Then, be careful. Lu Yufan said worriedly. Yi Yi also said, be careful. Lin Xian nodded. Yi Nantian walked over and patted Lin Xian's shoulder. Do what you can. I know. Let's go. Ling Longyue sent them away. Without Ling Longyue, Lin Xian really didn't know what to do. Not long after, Ling Longyue appeared beside Lin Xian again. Lin Xian, I can help you save people, but I can't help you humans fight demonic beasts. Ling Longyue was afraid that Lin Xian would misunderstand, so she explained to Lin Xian. In the past, she wouldn't have cared about Lin Xian's thoughts and opinions. Lin Xian nodded. I understand. Thank you. Ling Longyue shook her head. I'm only in the celestial venerable realm. The difference in strength between the celestial venerable realm and the great virtual realm is more than 100 times. The only thing I can do is to bring a small number of people away and achieve a space jump of a few hundred kilometers. If my sister was here, she could easily send tens of thousands of people to Lin and City. Lin Xian rubbed his forehead. It's a pity that she's not back yet. That's right, if Ling Longyue was here, she could easily send a lot of people away. If my sister was here, she could open up one or even a few space wormholes and send people directly to Lin and City. But I can't. Ling Longyue also wanted to help Lin Xian and these humans. In the past, she didn't care about it, but during this period, she realized that she liked this place. She didn't want this place to be destroyed, but she could only save people, but she couldn't openly attack the demonic beasts. This was a different concept. Lin Xian was also very satisfied. After sending Lu Yufan and the others away, under normal circumstances, Ling Longyue was one of the demonic beasts. She was attacking the humans, but now she was helping the humans. Lin Xian was very satisfied. I don't know how these demonic beasts suddenly appeared. This was Lin Xian's biggest headache. If they continued to appear, Tianhua City would have no chance of being defended. Actually, even if it fell, it would be fine as long as fewer people died. Actually, I can roughly guess. Ling Longyue looked at Lin Xian and said, What? Lin Xian hurriedly asked. I couldn't guess it in the past, but with everything that happened tonight, it's likely that the Myriad Demon Alliance gathered a large number of demonic beasts together. It's very likely that they used spatial properties to gather them in places that you humans can't detect. When the numbers reached a certain number, they used spatial powers to teleport all of them to the surroundings of Tianhua City. This also resulted in the sudden appearance of large numbers of demonic beasts, making it impossible to guard against. But, other than you void foxes, are there any other demonic beasts that can control space? Ling Longyue shook her head. Almost none. There are some that can control space, but they are definitely inferior to us void foxes. Even my sister can't teleport such a large number of demonic beasts to a certain place. To be able to do so, it has to be at the heavenly Tao realm. But in my impression, there are heavenly Tao realm demonic beasts, but there aren't any spatial demonic beasts at the heavenly Tao realm. Then I have a rough idea. The only thing that can make me think of this is void heavenly crystal. Furthermore, it's a spatial wormhole condensed from a large number of void heavenly crystals. Lin Xian pondered slightly. That also means that there might be a spatial wormhole condensed from a large number of void heavenly crystals near the Myriad Demon Alliance. Then, these demonic beasts would constantly appear outside Tianhua City, saving us a lot of time in attacking. It might even prevent us from seeing them. Normal humans would be able to detect any abnormalities when the demonic beasts gathered a few hundred kilometers away. There would be spies of the human race there. At that time, the human race would be able to defend in time. They could even pull the battle line to tens or even tens of kilometers away from Tianhua City. However, the demon race had been scheming. They knew this and thus chose such a method. It had to be said that they were truly insidious, but they had indeed achieved their goal. It must be the void heavenly crystal. I remember that back in the Myriad Demon Alliance, I noticed that they were collecting large amounts of void heavenly crystals. However, void heavenly crystals are extremely rare. This is probably the result of the Myriad Demon Alliance's decades of collection, said Ling Longyue. That also means that if they still have void heavenly crystals in their hands, just like in Tianhua City, then in the future, the Myriad Demon Alliance can launch a sudden attack in Lin and City and all other cities? Ling Longyue nodded. F***CK. Lin Xian scratched his head. Then it's over. Even if they knew, what could they do? Every day, every moment, every second, millions of people were guarding outside the city? That was impossible. However, if they didn't do that, and a large number of demonic beasts continued to appear, there would be incidents similar to Tianhua City happening one after another. Cities would fall one after another at an extremely fast speed. What can we do? Lin Xian asked. Yes. Destroy the void heavenly crystal. As long as it's destroyed, the Myriad Demon Alliance won't be able to find so many void heavenly crystals for at least a few decades. At least for a few decades, the Myriad Demon Alliance won't be able to launch a sudden attack like this again. Lin Xian rubbed his chin and revealed a worried expression. How do we destroy it? It's very simple. Just bombard it with enough power. The void heavenly crystal is just a crystal. It should be possible to do it with the power of a heavenly venerable, but, Lin Xian said, but where is the void heavenly crystal? Even if we find it, it's a problem whether we can destroy it alive, right? Chapter 590. Ling Longyue slowly paced and nodded with a worried expression. That's right. The heavenly void crystal is naturally very important. If I'm not mistaken, and I've seen the heavenly void crystal in the Myriad Demon League, the heavenly void crystal must be set up near the Myriad Demon League. It's impossible for humans to appear in the Myriad Demon League, so there's a high possibility that it's there. And that's the Myriad Demon League. The heavenly void crystal is very important. Even if it's the Myriad Demon League's territory, there must be experts guarding it. Lin Xian said. Ling Longyue nodded her little head. Okay, I got it. We'll see if there's a chance later. Let's evacuate the civilians first. The lives of the civilians had nothing to do with Lin Xian, but they were humans. Every death meant one less person who could fight against the demon clan in the future. If too many people died, it would weaken the morale of the human race. Moreover, as long as one was a normal human, who would be willing to see people die for no reason? Ling Longyue took Lin Xian to pick up Wang Xintong first, then went to the Bounty Hunter Guild together because Miao Xiaomiao was there. Lin Xian. Miao Xiaomiao hurried over when she saw Lin Xian. Where's everyone? Lin Xian asked. Uncle Ba and Sister Chanxian went to fight. Chu Meng and the others haven't even reached the profound heaven realm, so they retreated with their families for the time being. Lin Xian nodded. Lin Xian. Miao Zhenghao walked over. Grandpa Miao. Xiao Miao insisted on fighting. I can't stop her. I'll leave her to you. Lin Xian nodded. Don't worry, leave it to me. Grandpa Miao, I'll ask my friends to send you to Lin and city first. Miao Zhenghao shook his head. No need. You don't have to worry about my safety. I have some connections with the three major forces. Miao Xiaomiao nodded at Lin Xian. Although Lin Xian was still worried, since Miao Xiaomiao was assured, Lin Xian had nothing to say. Let's go then. Miao Zhenghao quickly reminded them, remember, don't go to the main battlefield. There are probably tens of millions of monster beasts and humans there, and there are also countless Law Realm monster beasts, including Grand Dominion Realm and Heavenly Venerables. A battle between those powerhouses can destroy a huge area with just a wave of their hand. Don't go there. That's the main battlefield of the three great forces, and there are also many powerhouses from the three great forces guarding it. Your limit is the various large cities behind the main battlefield. There are also many monster beasts there, and the civilians are being slaughtered by the monster beasts. Lin Xian nodded. I understand. Let's go. Then, they disappeared on the spot and arrived at the house. Inside the house, Ling Ying and Han Chuxue were anxiously sitting on the sofa. There was still a sea of people outside. Cars couldn't move at all, and bicycles couldn't be ridden. It was too crowded, and it was chaos. It was so chaotic that families had to flee together. When they were pushed by the crowd, they could only watch helplessly as their family members disappeared from their sight. They couldn't find them anymore as they were drowned in the sea of people. Big Sister Ling Ying. Miao Xiaomiao shouted when she saw Ling Ying. Ling Ying nodded. This is Xian Tong. Lin Xian gave a brief introduction. Han Chuxue stood up, and everyone looked at Lin Xian. Han Chuxue, Ling Ying, Lin Xian, Miao Xiaomiao, Wang Xintong, and Ling Longyue. This was their lineup. Of course, Miao Xiaomiao couldn't attack the demonic beasts, but she could protect their safety. Lin Xian then said, let's go to Yunhai County. Their strength and numbers were limited, so they could only do what they could. Okay. We'll listen to you. Lin Xian then said, dark, ice, wind, my space, and Xian Tong's water and light. Our combined combat strength shouldn't be weak. At the very least, we should be able to protect a lot of people and help them escape safely. Let's do what we can. What about the main battlefield? Han Chuxue asked. Lin Xian shook her head. That's not a place we can go. Then she nodded. Let's move together and take care of each other. Ling Longyue, I'll give you the coordinates. Send us to Yunhai County. Okay. In the next instant, all of them disappeared and appeared outside of Yunhai County. Around them, the densely packed citizens of Yunhai County fled towards the center of Tianhua City. After all, the demonic beasts came from outside, and there were very few demonic beasts in these areas. Only a small number of them went deeper. The people from the three major factions hurriedly evacuated them, and the cars sped away as if they could survive if they ran for a second longer. Looking at the distant sky in the direction of Yunhai County, it was originally night, but Yunhai County was exceptionally bright. It was all fire. Buildings were on fire, and people were screaming and crying in despair. Even further away, there were occasional explosions, and even the ground was shaking. Terrifying forces were intertwining, and that was a battle between experts. It was unknown how many people had died in such a battle. Tianhua City was the center of the city, and the chaos was only caused by the people. Yunhai County was close to the edge of Tianhua City, and it was close to the main battlefield. Many demonic beasts had already rushed here, and it was even more chaotic. It was a real disaster. Heaven could imagine what the situation in Yunhai County was like. The main thing was that it was late at night, and everything was too sudden. That was why it was so chaotic. Lin Xian and the rest went against the flow and headed towards Yunhai County. Those over there, Yunhai County is very dangerous. Quickly follow the citizens and retreat under the leadership of the three major factions. Someone saw Lin Xian and the rest and quickly shouted, Uncle, We are martial artists. We should help the human race. Miao Xiao Miao said. Martial artists? Be careful. Yes. Then they sped away. There were not as many people in Yunhai County as there were outside. It seemed that most of the people had retreated. The entire street was filled with people fleeing in all directions. The martial artists, including the members of the three major factions, were fighting with all kinds of demonic beasts. Lin Xian then said, "This is the main road of Yunhai County, and it is also the largest street. Most people would choose to escape through this wide road. Let's first block this road, and then follow the other martial artists." Okay. Whoosh. Then, they took out their spiritual weapons and rushed forward. Demonic beasts died under their hands, and Ling Longyue used her spatial attribute to protect them. At the same time, she teleported the people who were being chased by the demonic beasts to a safe place. 5 Thunder Celestial Phenomenon. In front of them, 2 huge black spiders moved quickly on the wall, rushing towards a family of 3. The family of 3 hid behind a car, but they were obviously discovered by the demonic beasts. Boom! The lightning struck just as the demonic beasts were about to attack them. The demonic beasts were sent flying. "Hurry up and leave!" Lin Xian shouted at them, and then continued to rush forward. There were many martial artists like them, and it was not only the members of the 3 major factions who were fighting. This was also a blessing in disguise. Chapter 591. Time ticked by. Lin Xian and the others were still quite strong. They had protected many civilians and killed many demonic beasts while they were escaping. However, it seemed like they killed a lot, but compared to the entire horde of beasts, it was only 1 in 100,000. The surrounding civilians retreated, while those who couldn't were killed by the beasts. They didn't dare to leave their homes after seeing this scene. However, they would still die sooner or later. Martial artists and members of the 3 major forces had also suffered heavy casualties. Even here, there were corpses everywhere, not to mention the brave warriors who were still tenaciously defending the border. In the surroundings, some monster beasts would even ignore their existence and quickly attack the retreating civilians. Their bodies were more or less stained with blood. Of course, it was all from the beasts. Retreat! Everyone retreat! Retreat quickly! In front, more than 10 martial artists who came to fight on their own accord ran over and shouted, "What's wrong?" Lin Xian stopped one of them. "A group of beasts broke through the defense line and are about to reach here. The civilians of Yunhai County are almost all evacuated. We don't have any reinforcements here. Let's avoid them and wait for reinforcements." "How many?" 3 to 5,000. Including us, the members of the 3 major forces don't have as many beasts as we do. Moreover, the members of the 3 major forces need time to gather here. Hurry up and run." After saying that, those people ran away. Just as they ran away, Lin Xian and the rest saw a black mass of beasts rushing over from afar. At the front was a battle between millions of beasts and humans. In a battle of this scale, a large number of beasts could take advantage of the chaos and rush in. This was a very normal thing. 99% of the members of the 3 major forces were fighting at the front lines. The remaining few were scattered in various counties. Their main purpose was to evacuate and protect the people. Tianhua City could fall, but the people had to be protected. They had to do their best to protect their lives. There had been constant fighting and deaths here, evacuating the crowd, protecting the crowd to the center of Tianhua City, and then escaping. Therefore, there weren't many members of the 3 major factions in these county cities. Most of them were actually martial artists. Lin Xian. Wang Xintong looked at Lin Xian. The others were also looking at him. "Let's fight." Lin Xian's body flickered with lightning. Hearing Lin Xian's words, they were pleasantly surprised. They also wanted to fight. Whoosh! Han Chushue and Ling Ying were the first to rush up. Then, Lin Xian and Miao Xiao Miao followed. Wang Xintong's attack power was not as strong as theirs, but the power of light and water was not weak either. Behind them, The people who were preparing to retreat suddenly stopped when they saw these people rushing towards the black mass of demonic beasts. Weren't they just sending themselves to their deaths? Whoosh! Han Chushue was the first to rush in. The surrounding air was extremely cold, and everything had turned into a world of ice and snow. 90% of the densely packed demonic beasts were frozen. Obviously, this was Han Chushue's ultimate move, mainly because most of the demonic beasts weren't that strong. She was now in the lightning tribulation realm, and most of the demonic beasts were around the arcane body realm. If there were a large number of them, with absolute strength, they could release area martial arts techniques. No matter how many there were, as long as the area was large enough, there would be no problem. Thunderclap Transformation. Lin Xian released the Earth-class 10-star martial arts technique that Han Chushue's mother gave him, Thunderclap Transformation. Boom! Above the night sky, a thundercloud actually gathered. Then, dense thunderbolts bombarded down as if they were going through a lightning tribulation. The frozen demonic beasts in front of them were indiscriminately bombarded. Ling Ying's figure turned into a ghost, constantly flickering among the demonic beasts. Wherever he went, the demonic beasts fell to the ground. Hurricane rolling waves. Miao Xiao Miao's petite figure rushed in, bringing along a violent tornado, and the demonic beasts were all swept into the air. Dazzling earth. A dazzling light flashed in the air, and the surface of the demonic beasts were directly cracked by the strong light, then half melted, and killed in an instant. Everyone at the back opened their mouths wide. These people had such strong combat strength. Ling Longshui actually wanted to help, but she knew that once she did, once someone found out, her and her sister Ling Longshui's situation would become very, very bad. This also meant that the Void Fox was no longer neutral, but a friend of humanity, on the side of humanity. Whoosh! Not long after, Lin Xian and the rest killed the demonic beasts one after another. Thousands of demonic beasts, under such a large area of effect martial arts, were easily killed without too high a level. It was just that their spiritual power was depleted too quickly. Take a break here. Lin Xian threw some food to each of them. Their physical strength and spiritual power consumption were too severe. If they had unlimited spiritual power, they could unleash powerful martial arts techniques without limit, but that was impossible. When the people at the back saw this scene, they all rushed over. Are you Lin Xian? Since they chose to participate in the battle, it proved that they wanted to protect everyone with their own strength, but it was reasonable for them to run. If they couldn't win, they couldn't just throw their lives away, right? But now, Lin Xian and the rest had killed thousands of demonic beasts, so they had the courage to come back. If it was in the past, they wouldn't have been able to do it. But now, Lin Xian and Han Chushue were in the Lightning Tribulation Realm, Ling Ying had also reached the Lightning Tribulation Realm in tonight's battle, and Miao Xiaomiao and Wang Xintong were in the upper levels of the mysterious Heaven Realm. Their combat strength was combined with high-level martial arts techniques, so naturally, they weren't weak. The main battlefield should be 20 kilometers ahead. Lin Xian looked ahead. The people here were almost all evacuated, and only a few demonic beasts had rushed out. But these demonic beasts, even without them, the other martial artists could deal with them. The main problem was the front line. If the front line was completely lost, what would it mean? Millions of demonic beasts would rush over like a tidal wave, and at that time, it would be completely unstoppable. Of course, the few of them weren't strong enough, but now, if they wanted to realize their value, the best choice was the front line. But the front line was very dangerous. Ling Longyue, can you try to go to the Myriad Demon Alliance? Lin Xian asked. Ling Longyue bit her lips and shook her head. No, my realm might seem high, but if I go to the Myriad Demon Alliance, any random person in there would be stronger than me. It's almost impossible for you to destroy the void heavenly crystal. Lin Xian revealed a worried expression. But if they didn't destroy it, the demonic beasts would constantly replenish the front line, and it would definitely be lost. Moreover, my spatial power might not be useful if I encounter a very strong existence. Ling Longyue said. Lin Xian, the people in the border counties have basically been evacuated, and the demonic beasts are scattered, so they won't be able to do much. The main problem is the front line. Ling Ying looked at Lin Xian. The front line. Could they go? They wanted to go, and so did Lin Xian, but... Chapter 592. Once the front line was lost, it meant that Tianhua City had truly fallen. It was true that there were many beasts that had entered Tianhua City and killed many people. There were probably no less than 100,000 dead. However, the real beast army was still blocked by the humans. At the edge, there were millions of them. The humans were constantly increasing their numbers, and so were the demons. As for whether they could hold on, Lin Xian really didn't have much confidence. Because of the void heavenly crystal, the beasts were increasing their numbers too quickly. However, the danger was similarly great. Lin Xian really wanted to go. It was obvious that all of them wanted to go, but for safety, powerhouses were all honed from battle after battle. Lin Xian gritted his teeth. All right. Then let's go. Hearing Lin Xian's words, the girls were surprised. Wasn't this the meaning of their existence? They believed that other than everyone, there would be more people who would bravely go to the front line. Of course, there might be more people who would escape. However, the humans weren't protected by the three major forces, but by each of them. In the end, even if Tianhua City fell, they had fought and done their best. They had a clear conscience. But Lin Xian looked at them. Just do your best. Be careful. Understood. Ling Ying smiled. On the battlefield, it was impossible for them to stay together all the time. Then, Lin Xian said, let's fight together first. If anything happens, Ling Ying, you, Chu Xue, and Ling Longyue should be together. I'll take Little Miao and Xintong. All right. Then, a few figures rushed to the main battlefield. When they arrived at the edge of Tianhua City, they were unprecedentedly shocked. At a glance, there were all kinds of demonic beasts. It was a sea of people, and the power that erupted was simply unprecedented. It was the kind of place where if you entered, you might not even be able to tell the direction in the next second. In any case, you just had to look around. If you saw any demonic beasts, you would attack. That was the only way. There was no strategy, but if you were careless and fell, or if you were knocked down, you might not be able to stand up again. Lin Xian believed in the strength of Ling Ying and the others, but this kind of scene was terrifying. It was too chaotic. Above the void, in the distance, even further away, and even near, was the battlefield of the strong. Basically, the main battlefield did not see strong existences killing large groups of people, because once they appeared, there would be strong human experts targeting them, pulling the battlefield away from the crowd. Otherwise, in the battle between them, they could casually release martial arts techniques and kill a large number of people. The battlefield may stretch for tens of kilometers, or even tens of kilometers. In any case, it's so big that it's beyond your imagination. Go. Be careful. Whoosh. Then, several figures rushed in. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. The sky gradually brightened. The entire main battlefield was full of corpses. Corpses were everywhere, and the air was filled with the smell of fresh blood. The human reinforcements had arrived long ago, but the demonic beasts' reinforcements were even more exaggerated. The battlefield was gradually spreading to the inner part of Tianhua City, indicating that the human race was getting more and more unable to hold on. But a battle of this scale, millions of demonic beasts would add up to tens of millions. It was not something that could be settled in a few hours. Even if they could not hold on, they could still hold on for a while. This was not a problem. In fact, this was already the limit of the human race. They did not collapse directly because of the sudden attack of the demonic beasts. Relatively speaking, only a small number of demonic beasts entered Tianhua City, but a small number was not enough to make a difference. Only when the front line was truly lost and millions of demonic beasts poured in would it be a true fall. Lin Xian's level in this battle had already risen to the 5-star Thunder Tribulation realm. God knew how many demonic beasts he had killed. In any case, he was bombarding indiscriminately with lightning attacks. His vision was covered by sweat and possibly blood. Fortunately, Lin Xian was of the spatial attribute. He released the last of his remaining attributes and returned to a safe position to rest and recover his physical strength and spiritual power. Many others wanted to retreat but could not do so because they could no longer turn back. Their bodies were completely powerless, but they had to be besieged by an unimaginable number of demonic beasts. This was cruel. Ling Longyue bit her lips and watched this scene from beginning to end. In the past, she did not care. But now she was struggling. She really wanted to help. She really wanted to. She did not know how tormented her heart was. At this time, a powerful strength shot up from the horizon. It was an Empyrean powerhouse. It was clear that he had killed his opponent. With such a powerhouse, tens of thousands of martial artists would perish in the blink of an eye. Some people's pupils shrank when they felt this terrifying power. It was over. It seemed like there was no expert who could save them. Ling Longyue saw this scene and saw the area where the heavenly venerable realm demon Venerable was preparing to attack. In that area, Han Chuxue and Ling Ying were still fighting. Then, Ling Longyue clenched her fist. Despicable ant, go to hell. Terrifying flames erupted from his body. Once this sea of flames was released, it was possible that 3,000 to 4,000 people would die instantly. It was over. Those people saw the terrifying sea of fire surging towards them and despair filled their hearts. At this moment, a smaller figure appeared above their heads. With a stretch of her hand, all the flames were blocked and annihilated in the void. Everyone looked at the void in surprise. It's you. The heavenly venerable realm expert recognized Ling Longyue after seeing her. Void Fox, aren't you neutral? You were even a member of my Myriad Demon Alliance. Now, you're actually fighting for the humans. Have you forgotten that you're from the demon race? Wait for the judgment of the Myriad Demon Alliance. The expert said viciously. My friend is in this area. You almost killed my friend. So, you must die. Whoosh. Then, Ling Longyue rushed up and the two figures disappeared from the spot. Actually, in order to protect Han Chuxue and Ling Ying, Ling Longyue could have just used the power of space to bring them away. However, she did so with the excuse that her friend was there. In fact, she wanted to help but gave herself an excuse. In a short period of time, the two figures appeared in the void again. Ling Longyue kicked them down and killed a group of beasts. The heavenly venerable realm expert was dead. 1,000-bait heavenly prison. Ling Longyue's eyes flashed and rushed into the group of beasts. The 1,000-bait heavenly prison exploded and attracted countless beasts. Since she had made her move, there was no need to stop. Lin Xian also saw this scene and laughed. This girl. Lin Xian stood up and rushed into the battlefield again. In the battlefield, the few girls were very brave. To them, this was a very important experience. Chapter 593. Time passed again. Ling Longyue was held back by several demon race powerhouses, but Lin Xian was not worried about her safety. At this moment, another change happened. Light flickered in the distance. Hundreds of thousands, millions of demonic beasts joined the battle again. Not good. The demon race has increased in numbers. Too fast. How did they manage to increase their numbers instantly? If this continues, we won't be able to increase our numbers in time. Tianhua City will be completely lost. Go. All of you go. Let this group of trash know that we're not easy to bully. Lin Xian revealed a solemn expression. No, it would definitely be lost. This whatever void heaven crystal would definitely be destroyed. Otherwise, if it was like this every time, the human race would completely fall. With another 1,000,000 demonic beasts increasing their numbers, the defenders of the three major forces were directly suppressed. Absolute suppression. I'm afraid. We have to retreat. Murong Qing appeared beside Lin Xian. Lin Xian looked at her. She no longer had her previous elegance. Her body was also covered in blood, and her clothes were somewhat tattered. Lin Xian told her about the void heaven crystal. Is what you said true? Lin Xian nodded. It should be. Murong Qing muttered slightly. It's nothing if Tianhua City falls. We've already done our best. The casualties of the people have also been reduced to the limit. But if it falls now, there's no time to retreat. The casualties will reach millions. This is just this time. If it's as you said, the human race will really be in danger in the future. This void heaven crystal must be destroyed. Lin Xian nodded. I'll give it a try. Morong Qing said. Lin Xian, are you crazy? That's the Myriad Demon Alliance. And without the power of a heavenly venerable, you can't break the void heaven crystal. I'm a heavenly venerable. Morong Qing looked at Lin Xian seriously. Lin Xian, he had underestimated her. All right, let's go together. You'll need me, do you believe me? Lin Xian said. Morong Qing fell into hesitation. Lin Xian's eye of spiritual insight would definitely come in handy. A large number of heavenly void crystals had gathered. Lin Xian released his eye of cave spirit and was able to directly locate them. Wait, I'll go find another dark attribute or space attribute heavenly venerable realm powerhouse. That way they can protect us as much as possible. No way. Morong Qing denied it again. In the current battlefield, one less Empyrean is a huge loss for the human race. No way. Morong Qing shook her head. At this moment, another million demonic beasts appeared. It's over. Morong Qing's pupils suddenly shrank. He couldn't hold on any longer. Behind you. Lin Xian pointed in the direction of Yunhai County behind them. A few demons had snuck in behind them and set up a teleportation array there. Then, they saw a hole appear in the sky behind them, and a large number of demons were teleported behind them. They were being sandwiched. Wait a minute. Those demonic beasts ignored them and charged towards the direction of Tianhua City. Morong Qing's pupils suddenly shrank. Not good. Then, she hurriedly said into her earpiece, a large number of demons are pouring into Tianhua City. Evacuate quickly. No, there are too many people. There are still more than 4 million people in the city. It will take at least a day to completely evacuate. Morong Qing felt as if all her strength had been sucked out. Oh no. This heavenly void crystal teleportation had completely caught them off guard. They had no temper. It looked like they were guarding, but it was useless. Morong Qing looked at Lin Xian and hurriedly said, Tianhua City has been completely lost. This spatial teleportation caught us off guard. There are still millions of people who didn't have time to evacuate. They can't hold on anymore. There's one way to destroy the heavenly void crystal, but it's definitely too late. At least Tianhua City won't make it in time. Lin Xian sighed. But it must be destroyed. As for the people, they can only hope that there will be more and faster reinforcements. Otherwise, they will all die. And this place must be defended. We can't let it go. Otherwise, countless demons will also pour in. Morong Qing gritted her teeth. At this moment, a wormhole appeared in the sky. At first, Lin Xian thought it was another demon, but after he saw it clearly, he was pleasantly surprised. Above the void, 2 figures stood. After they appeared, they also looked shocked. How long has it been since we left? How did it become like this? Bing Lingyue frowned. Ling Longshui glanced down and saw that Ling Longyue was actually fighting for the human race. She didn't have any thoughts of blaming her. Hey! Xiao Ling Long! Little Bing Lingyue! Lin Xian jumped up and down on the ground, shouting and yelling at them. It was impossible to see in such an environment, but their perception was extremely strong. Whoosh! 2 people appeared in front of Lin Xian. Has the Myriad Demon Alliance attacked? Lin Xian nodded. Xiao Linglong, can you help us? Ling Longshui shook her head. No, I'm in the absolute void stage. I can't participate in the battle. Otherwise, it would be breaking the rules. The Myriad Demon Alliance will also have absolute void stage cultivators participating in the battle. At that time, the losses will be even greater. There's no need to fight. Lin Xian said, your sister said that you can create a wormhole that connects two places, right? Linglong Shui nodded. Lin Xian pointed in a direction and said, there are millions of civilians there. They can't retreat in time. A large number of demon beasts are rushing over. Can you set up a wormhole and let them leave as soon as possible? Yes. Location. Lin Xian was pleasantly surprised. Lin and city. You can go there and ask anyone. Linglong Shui nodded and then disappeared. Yes, she couldn't attack the demon race, but she could set up a wormhole and let the civilians leave as soon as possible. As long as there weren't many casualties, it was acceptable for Tianhua City to fall. Morong Qing was surprised. Lin Xian, Lin Xian said, she's in the absolute void stage. She can set up a large number of wormholes and let the civilians enter and appear in Lin and city. As long as there are enough wormholes, a large number of civilians can leave Tianhua City in the shortest time possible without any transportation. That's great. That's great. Morong Qing was pleasantly surprised. Lin Xian then looked at Bing Lingyue. Little Bing Lingyue, are you in the absolute void stage? Bing Lingyue shook her head. I'm just one step away. Just right. Thank you. Lin Xian. Bing Lingyue shook her head. Don't forget, I'm also a human. After that, she rushed into the distance. In an instant, the battlefield turned into a world of ice and snow. Hundreds of thousands of demon beasts were frozen and killed instantly. This was the combat power of a powerhouse on the battlefield. So powerful. Is she really in the heavenly venerable realm? Morong Qing said in shock. She had seen too many heavenly venerables, but none of them were this powerful. Snow fell from the sky like goose feathers. Bing Lingyue was obviously chanting a big move. Above the void, her beautiful eyes suddenly opened. Snow swirled in the air. Any demon beasts that were touched by the snow and ice within a radius of dozens of miles were turned into ice sculptures. Chapter 594. Everyone was shocked. Bang! The ice and snow shattered and millions of beasts turned into nothingness. Everyone? Lin Xian swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Lin Xian had seen too many heavenly venerables. In this battle, there were also many demon clan members of the heavenly venerables realm. He had seen them kill tens of thousands of people in seconds. However, Lin Xian thought that was the limit. What kind of move was Bing Lingyue using? Millions of beasts were killed in seconds within a few dozen miles? Saint-level martial arts technique. It must be a saint-level martial arts technique. Only a saint-level martial arts technique can achieve such an effect. But a saint-level martial arts technique is a legendary martial arts technique. Morong Qing's beautiful eyes widened. A heaven-level martial arts technique could topple rivers and overturn seas. A god-level martial arts technique was unparalleled. Above the god-level martial arts technique was the saint-level martial arts technique. That was a legendary existence. Even Morong Qing had not seen it before. It was enough to show that there was almost no saint-level martial arts technique in this world. A saint-level martial arts technique coupled with the ice attribute. A 10 stars heavenly venerables had achieved such an effect. Everyone was still fighting a second ago, and the next second, the battle was over. Millions of beasts were annihilated. However, in the next moment, a large number of beasts appeared again. They had just heaved a sigh of relief when the battle started again. Bing Lingyue's figure landed beside Lin Xian. She did not look too good. How are you? Lin Xian quickly supported her. Bing Lingyue said weakly, this is all I can do. Senior, you are already very heaven-defying. Thank you. Morong Qing said respectfully. Millions of beasts were killed in seconds. No one could compare. It was really enough. This was also the first time Lin Xian had seen such power. He had seen too many heavenly venerables before, but he had never seen such a terrifying power. He did not know if Ling Longyue could unleash such power. This was the advantage of the ice attribute. The ice attribute was the strongest attribute in terms of area of effect. However, if Ling Longyue's space attribute could compress an area of tens of kilometers, she would be able to instantly kill so many existences. As for whether she could do it, Lin Xian did not know. It had to be known that this was only the 10 stars of the Empyrean realm. If one were to rise another star and reach the Great Void Realm, then according to Ling Longyue, the difference in strength between the Great Void Realm and the Empyrean realm would be 100 times greater. It was too exaggerated. What about the Heavenly Tao realm? Wouldn't the Heavenly Tao realm transcend godhood? It was no wonder the Great Void Realm and Heavenly Tao realm were not allowed to participate in the battle. On the other side, Ling Longshui arrived at the downtown area of Tianhua City. When she saw that the place she had lived in for a period of time and liked very much had turned into such a scene, she was quite touched and reluctant to part with it. It was as if her own home had turned into such a scene. Under such circumstances, once a large number of demonic beasts arrived, it would truly be a living hell. Whoosh, Ling Longshui asked about the general area of Lin and City and then jumped through space. She set up dozens of wormholes and arrived at the periphery of Tianhua City again. Many people saw her. After all, she was standing in the void, so she naturally attracted everyone's attention. Ling Longshui waved her hand and a huge wormhole appeared in front of everyone. Everyone was surprised. What was this? Ling Longshui then injected her voice with spirit energy, allowing her voice to travel very far. This is a spatial wormhole. All you need to do is enter the wormhole and you will directly arrive near Lin and City. Hearing Ling Longshui's words, everyone was pleasantly surprised. Thank you very much, Sister Immortal. Benefactor, you are our benefactor. Everyone quickly enter. Then, a large number of people surged into the wormhole. After seeing this, Ling Longshui's figure disappeared and appeared in various places, setting up teleportation wormholes one after another. With these wormholes, it would not take too much time for these people to enter Lin and City. On the other side, Lin Xian and Murong Qing had already retreated to the back to discuss the matter of the Heavenly Void Crystal. I can go with you. I have the time attribute, so I have relatively strong functions and self-protection abilities. You have the space attribute. If you say you can find the Heavenly Void Crystal, then let's go. Where are we going? Bing Lingyue asked. Lin Xian told Bing Lingyue the general situation. I'll go too. Lin Xian shook his head. Forget it. You have a good rest. Your spirit energy is completely exhausted. Don't worry, I will let Ling Long follow you. But you are going to the Myriad Demon League. I have chatted with Ling Long a lot these days and have some understanding of the Myriad Demon League. It is too dangerous there. It's okay. The time attribute and space attribute Heavenly Venerables should not be too big of a problem. Moreover, we are not going to attack the Myriad Demon League. We will try our best to avoid encountering the members of the Myriad Demon League. Moreover, the attention of the Myriad Demon League is probably here. It should not be a big problem. Bing Lingyue nodded slightly, but she was still a little worried. Why don't we wait for Ling Long? Lin Xian shook his head. No, it's better for her not to show up. Whoosh, Ling Long asked the few Heavenly Venerables and then landed beside Lin Xian. Sister Bing, you are back. Ling Long said in surprise. Bing Lingyue nodded. Lin Xian then told Ling Long his idea. Of course, no problem. We can try. Then, shall we go now? Yes. Lin Xian then said to Bing Lingyue, Lil Bing Bing, I will leave the safety of Chuxue and the others to you. Don't worry. Then, the three of them disappeared on the spot. When they reappeared, they were at a place Lin Xian had never been before. Ling Long stopped. Ling Long said, the location of the Myriad Demon League is still a few dozen kilometers away from here. This place is a few thousand kilometers away from Tianhua City. I may need to recover my spiritual power. After all, we are going to the Myriad Demon League. If my condition is not good, it will be very dangerous. Lin Xian nodded. Okay, then we will rest. Ling Long continued. There is no need to rest. We just need to hurry. My spiritual power will recover quickly. Moreover, We can only walk this part of the journey because there are many experts in the Myriad Demon League. If I release my spatial power at this distance, I will be detected from afar. Okay. Then, the three of them quickly rushed in the direction indicated by Ling Longyu. What kind of place is the Myriad Demon League? Morong Qing asked Ling Longyu. Although she was in a high position, her understanding of the Myriad Demon League was close to zero. To be precise, the entire human race did not know much about the Myriad Demon League. They only knew that there was such a force in the demon race. This was because they could not go to that place and did not dare to go there. Going there was courting death. No matter how strong an expert was, they would not go there. This was because there were experts in the Great Void Realm and Heavenly Tao Realm. Although they could not participate in the war, they could attack people. If they appeared in the Myriad Demon League, would they not kill them? Obviously, it was impossible. Chapter 595. What kind of place was the Myriad Demon Alliance? Even many existences in the demon race didn't know about it, but Ling Longyue had been there before. Of course she knew. How should I put it? The Myriad Demon Alliance is a pure organization of the demon race. It doesn't have an absolute base. The entire demon race is the headquarters of the Myriad Demon Alliance. The Myriad Demon Alliance recognizes people, not places. Today, this place can be the territory of the Myriad Demon Alliance. Tomorrow, it can be another place. Morong Qing nodded slightly. This is very different from the human race. Lin Xian also said, yes, in a sense, the three major forces of the human race are like the Myriad Demon Alliance of the demon race. However, all three of us have an absolute base. In fact, I think the Myriad Demon Alliance is better. However, the Myriad Demon Alliance naturally needs a place where they can gather a large number of demon beasts. They also need a base, but for them, the base is not that important. Right now, a sub-base of the Myriad Demon Alliance is in a city that was captured by the human race more than 10 years ago. The entire city area belongs to the Myriad Demon Alliance. It's also the place where I went. The Heavenly Void Crystal has a teleportation effect, but the farther it is, the more difficult it is, and the more power it needs. However, it's different now. The base's significance to the Myriad Demon Alliance has changed because they need to guard the Heavenly Void Crystal there. Ling Longyue said. Lin Xian nodded. Yes, this thing is of great significance to the demon race. If they want to take down the human race faster, the Heavenly Void Crystal is indispensable. However, it's hard to say whether the Myriad Demon Alliance will send a large number of troops to guard the Heavenly Void Crystal this time. Morong Qing said, there are two possibilities. One is that the demon race thinks that it's difficult for us to detect the Heavenly Void Crystal, so they may relax their vigilance. The fact has proven that without Ling Longyue, we wouldn't have noticed this. The second possibility is that because this is a very important thing, they will be more cautious when they use it for the first time. Lin Xian, if it were you, what would you choose? The latter. Lin Xian said. Guarding the Heavenly Void Crystal only requires a few more experts. It's a very simple thing. I think it will be more dangerous there to be on the safe side. Morong Qing felt the same. So, we may have to be more careful. Now that the sky was beginning to brighten, it would be more difficult for them to take action. However, they couldn't delay it. Could they delay it until tonight? Impossible. By then, Tianhua City had already ended. Perhaps this time, it wasn't for Tianhua City. It was to prevent such a situation from happening again, at least for the next few decades. Otherwise, it would only take a few months for the demons to launch their next surprise attack. No. In less than a few months. Tomorrow will do. Most of the demon clan's combat power was made up of monsters who didn't know what was good for them. They only knew how to follow orders and kill crazily. They could quickly gather in large numbers, but humans had their own thoughts and fears. The difference was too great. 2 hours later, the outline of a city appeared in front of them. This place had been away from humans for more than 10 years. It was surrounded by trees and all kinds of vines. The buildings that could be seen were also covered with green vines. Some of them even extended very far. To be honest, entering a city like this was like entering a ghost city. But this was a demon city. We're here. This is the current base of the Myriad Demon Alliance. As it is the closest to the human race, it can be considered their base camp. However, although there are many experts in the Myriad Demon Alliance, not many are willing to stay here every day. They will go to various places to seek breakthroughs, continue to seek opportunities, or go to places with rich heaven and earth spiritual power to cultivate. That's what I know, but I'm not sure what it is now. Lin Xian nodded and then opened the Eye of Cave Spirit. The Eye of Cave Spirit was very powerful in that it could see the direction of the heaven and earth spiritual energy. The Eye of Cave Spirit could see where the heaven and earth spiritual energy was denser, or where the heaven and earth spiritual energy changed from weak to strong. What Lin Xian needed was this change. A large number of void heavenly crystals gathered in one place. Perhaps it was difficult for them to sense it with their perception, but the Eye of Cave Spirit could definitely see it. They just needed to find the direction and go over. After opening the Eye of Cave Spirit, Lin Xian saw a large amount of heaven and earth spiritual power gathering in front of him. If there were ordinary heaven and earth spiritual treasures, the fluctuation of heaven and earth spiritual power would be very low. But in his line of sight, the fluctuation of heaven and earth spiritual power was extremely high. This basically confirmed Ling Longyue's thoughts. Front left. The distance is not certain, but it shouldn't be too far. Lin Xian said. Murong Qing was very surprised. How did this kid come to this conclusion? She could roughly sense that the heaven and earth spiritual power there had increased slightly, but this was not enough for her to conclude that it was the location of the void heavenly crystal. However, since she had followed, Murong Qing chose to believe in Lin Xian. With the space attribute and time attribute of the Empyrean realm, they should have the ability to protect themselves. Let's go. Following which, the three figures quickly rushed into the city, then concealed themselves in small alleys and slowly moved forward. One had to know that this place was equivalent to the experts of the demon race secretly sneaking into the area where the human race's divine temple was located. This was probably the case for them now. Therefore, even if they could travel faster, they had to move forward in the slowest, most cautious, and safest way. They did not dare to release their divine senses. Why? Because once one released their divine senses, as long as there were demon venerables around that were stronger than them, they would be able to sense their divine senses. This also meant that they had been exposed. There was a point in not releasing their divine senses, and that was that they would not know the situation around them immediately. For example, if there were any demon beasts in the dark that had discovered them. However, most of the demon beasts that lived here had probably gone to Tianhua City to fight, so there were not many of them. Moreover, they did not dare to release their divine senses, but Lin Xian could release the Eye of Cave Spirit. The Eye of Cave Spirit was also very effective in detecting danger in advance. It's right in front. Half an hour later, they arrived at a place closer to the center without any fear. The houses here were much cleaner than the edges, and there was no moss climbing up the tall buildings. What did this mean? It meant that there were traces of a large number of people living here. There was a cleaning. There must have been a large number of demon race that had taken human form living here before. The three figures quietly poked their heads out from behind a broken trash can in a small alley. Heavenly Void Crystal. Ling Longyue's beautiful eyes lit up when she saw what was in front of her. Lin Xian also saw it. In front of them was a plaza surrounded by supermarkets, shopping malls, and movie theaters. Surrounding this plaza was enough to show that this used to be a prosperous place. Above the plaza, a large number of dark blue crystals were releasing power. Chapter 596. That was the Heavenly Void Crystal. There were big ones and small ones. The big ones were a few meters long while the small ones were only a few dozen centimeters long. However, when their power was gathered together, sometimes the power would suddenly surge into the sky and open up a wormhole. A wormhole was probably open somewhere, allowing a large number of demon beasts to enter and appear in Tianhua City. It's a bit difficult. Murong Qing frowned and said. Currently, they couldn't see a single demon beast in this plaza, but it didn't mean that there weren't any in the surroundings. The plaza was very spacious. As long as one person from the surrounding buildings looked over here, they would be discovered as soon as they appeared in the plaza. And destroying this heavenly void crystal obviously couldn't be done in one move. It would take time. In other words, in the current situation, as long as they had the thought of destroying the heavenly void crystal, they would definitely be discovered. They weren't as lucky as before. What do you think? Morong Qing asked Lin Xian. Although she was stronger than Lin Xian, she didn't know why, but she inexplicably felt that Lin Xian was their backbone. Do it. Lin Xian gritted his teeth and said, "Definitely do it, but do we just do it like this?" Morong Qing asked, "What else can we do? Should we go back? Anyway, we already know the location. Why don't we invite stronger experts to destroy this place?" Lin Xian said, "We can do that." Morong Qing nodded. They didn't have much confidence. Since they knew the location, it was obviously the best choice to seek help from stronger experts. "Let's go." Just as they turned around and were about to leave, they suddenly found a person standing behind them. It was a very thin, middle-aged man. His face was unimaginably pale, as if he was a dead man. He stuck out his tongue and licked his lips, revealing a bloody smile. "Our luck is really good. Such a beautiful human girl, the taste of her blood must be very sweet." His eyes flickered as he looked at Morong Qing. They were discovered. His first reaction was to let Ling Longyue release her spatial attribute to send them away quickly, but his second reaction was, "No way. If they hadn't been discovered, it would have been fine. It wouldn't have mattered whether they had escaped or not." However, if they had been discovered, the price they had to pay for their escape was that the Myriad Demon Alliance would definitely move the heavenly void crystal to an unknown place. Moreover, they would be more vigilant in protecting it. By then, it would be almost impossible for them to find the heavenly void crystal again and destroy it. One city after another fell into the enemy's hands. The human race was in great danger. "Ling Longyue, can you block it?" Lin Xian asked softly. "Sure, it's just a heavenly venerable level vampire bat." Ling Longyue nodded. "Good. Let's go and destroy the heaven void crystal." Lin Xian's decision was very decisive. He had to do this. Whoosh. Following which, the three of them split into two different directions. Lin Xian released his spatial energy to send himself and Morong Qing directly to the place where the large number of heavenly void crystals were located. As for Ling Longyue, she directly rushed towards the demon venerable. The battle was about to begin. Their appearance attracted a lot of attention. Boom! Morong Qing went all out. Her powerful strength directly bombarded the heaven void crystal. "I need time. My attribute isn't suitable for causing destruction," Morong Qing said as she attacked. Yes, if she had the thunder attribute, it would definitely be much faster. However, although Lin Xian had the thunder attribute, the difference in strength was too great. Whoosh! 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 Figures appeared around them one by one. They were all heavenly venerables and domain realm powerhouses. "Lowly human, you still want to destroy the heaven void crystal? You're courting death." A heavenly venerable level demon venerable roared. A thundercloud appeared in the void above and thunder roared. "Morong Qing, time stop," Lin Xian shouted and then teleported over. At the same time, Morong Qing, who was attacking the large number of heaven void crystals, cooperated with Lin Xian to release time stop. She was a heavenly venerable. Even if she was not as strong as the other heavenly venerables, she would still be able to maintain time stop for a little while. Ding! You've exchanged for obedient spray. That's right. Lin Xian had exchanged for the obedient spray from the second merchant center. This was their only way to turn the tables. It was true that Lin Xian could not defeat them, but he had methods that these people did not expect. The cooperation of space and time had reached the pinnacle. When Lin Xian appeared in front of the heavenly venerable, he happened to be stopped by time stop. He stood there motionless. Just a moment was enough. Sizzle! Sizzle! Lin Xian's obedient spray was directly sprayed at him, and he threw it out with a flip of his hand. Then, another obedient spray appeared, and it teleported in front of another celestial venerable powerhouse. Then, another obedient spray appeared. Morong Qing did not dare to delay for a moment. She attacked crazily with terrifying strength. When she looked back, she wondered what Lin Xian was doing. Why was he using a water gun to fire at a heavenly venerable and domain realm powerhouse? He was crazy. Was this why he wanted her to release Time Stop? Within 2 seconds, Lin Xian had taken control of 4 people. This was already the limit. If he did not have the space attribute, he would only be able to control 1 person. The 3 of you, block the others. You, help attack the void heavenly crystal. Lin Xian naturally ordered the first demon venerable with the thunder attribute to attack the void heavenly crystal. Yes. Of the 4 people controlled, 3 participated in the battle, and 1 helped attack the void heavenly crystal. With the terrifying power of the thunder attribute, the power created by the void heavenly crystal was directly shattered by the thunder. This was the use of attributes. Time was very strong, right? But no matter how strong you were, you could not compare to the destructive power of the thunder attribute. Each had its own merits. No matter how strong your thunder attribute was, you could not stop time. Morong Qing was dumbfounded. What was going on? Why were they fighting on their own, and there was even a heavenly venerable helping them? That spray. Morong Qing was going crazy. How many jaw-dropping things did this Lin Xian have on him? She had seen spray that could control people or make them faint. It was normal. But damn, this was a heavenly venerable. How could he control a heavenly venerable? Who would be able to withstand this? How much longer? Morong Qing said as she attacked, "We just broke the power barrier created by the void heavenly crystal. If we want to destroy all the void heavenly crystals, even if I attack together with him, it will take at least a minute. Can he still be controlled for a minute?" Lin Xian shook his head. "I don't know, but..." Then, Lin Xian threw 5 bottles of obedient spray to Morong Qing. "Spray him every 10 seconds. Morong Qing. Lin Xian looked around. 1 minute was only 60 seconds. It was very, very short, but... In the surrounding sky, one terrifying power after another rushed over. One after another, heavenly venerables rushed over. And... the Great Void Stage. If it was only the heavenly venerables, it might still be possible, but there were still the Great Void Stage. "You're courting death." An old man roared and turned into a shocking flame in the sky, bombarding Lin Xian. "Come here." Lin Xian controlled a heavenly venerable powerhouse, who flew directly in front of Lin Xian and released power to block for him. Then, he was... insta-killed. This was the power of the Great Void Stage. Die. Chapter 597. The Great Void Stage was indeed the Great Void Stage, too strong. No matter what realm it was, Lin Xian could not beat it. Run. That's right, his first reaction was to run. But, how could he run? Block it for me again. Another heavenly venerable was controlled. He released all his strength and life force to block this attack. Whoosh, at this moment, Ling Longyue appeared beside Lin Xian. Run. Ling Longyue hurriedly said. Lin Xian gritted his teeth. Morong Qing go. Soon. You guys go. Now. Morong Qing gritted her teeth. Soon. Go, we'll talk about it later. Lin Xian roared. They had tried and failed, but there was nothing they could do. However, they could not die. This Great Void Stage was only of the fire attribute. If they were to leave, they would not be able to stop it. If another demon venerable of other attributes came, it would be over. Time Stop. Morong Qing released a terrifying time force and controlled all the heavenly venerables. However, the Great Void Stage was completely useless. Ling Longyue, bring us away. All right. Then, Ling Longyue released her space force. However, what's going on? Ling Longyue's pupils suddenly shrank. Why was it useless? Void Fox, it seems like you've betrayed my demon race. A voice was heard, and then dozens of figures appeared beside them at the same time, surrounding all of them. Dozens of Great Void Stage. Was this the Thousand Demon Alliance? The one who spoke was a woman. Not good. It's the Purple Lightning Martin. She also knows the Space Force. Although she can't compare to me, she's of the Great Void Stage. We can't run. Ling Longyue's face was pale. I didn't expect this little human to dare to destroy the Void Heavenly Crystal. Do you think it's enough with the help of the Void Fox? Just a little bit more, just a little bit more. An old man sneered. Kill them, don't leave the Void Fox alive. A heaven-defying force condensed. The sky above, which was originally clear, suddenly turned dark and a vortex appeared in the sky. All kinds of forces condensed, giving off a feeling of doomsday. This was the force condensed by a group of Void Stage powerhouses. Puff, Lin Xian spat out a mouthful of blood and fell to one knee on the ground. The pressure. He could no longer bear it. It's over. He had been too careless. It was his fault. He had overestimated himself and underestimated the Myriad Demon Alliance. No, he wanted to give it a try. Perhaps everyone wanted to, but it was his choice. In the Great Void Stage, Ling Longyue's space energy and Murong Qing's time energy were all useless. What else could he do? Roulette. Lin Xian shook his head. It was useless. The roulette wheel could not produce something that could allow them to escape from the power of dozens of higher Void Stage cultivators. Space. Time. It was impossible. Even the two people beside him couldn't do it. What else could he count on? Lin Xian slowly closed his eyes. She was unwilling and guilty, but there was nothing she could do. I'm going to die. I'm going to die before I've even started dating. F***CK. Murong Qing was very unwilling, but there was no other way. She glanced at Lin Xian. Ling Longyue was also looking at Lin Xian. If there was only one higher Void Stage cultivator, they could still try to fight or escape. But with dozens of them, it was useless. With such overwhelming power, not to mention Lin Xian, even Ling Longyue would be killed. All of them attacked. I'm sorry. Lin Xian closed his eyes and murmured. Various scenes appeared in his mind. Ling Ying, Han Chuxue, Lin Ye, Miao Xiao Miao, Wang Xintong. Lin Xian couldn't bear to part with any of them, but he could only say goodbye. He had tried his best and regretted it. No, in a sense, he didn't regret it. If he could do it again, he would try his best to destroy the heavenly void crystal. Perhaps after experiencing death once, Lin Xian could accept it more easily, but he was even more reluctant. It's okay. I did it willingly. I can't do anything about it. Murong Qing took the initiative to hold Lin Xian's hand. Boom! The few of them closed their eyes. A terrifying power surged over. Lin Xian felt that he would be reduced to nothingness in the next second. However, just as everyone was prepared to welcome death, they heard the sound of the power exploding around them. The aura surged at them from all directions, but it did not cause any damage. Lin Xian and company opened their eyes. Above the void stood a woman in a white immortal dress. Sister. When Ling Longyue saw Ling Longshui, she nearly cried. Lin Xian smiled. He never expected this girl to come at the most critical moment. Ling Longshui had released her spatial attributes, diverting all the power to her surroundings. In other words, their power had struck her. Ling Longyue was unable to resist them, so her spatial powers were of little effect. However, Ling Longshui was different. She was already at the Great Void Realm, and was even half a step into the Heavenly Dao Realm. At the very least, no one could compare to her in spatial powers. The Void Fox was the strongest expert in spatial powers. No other race or creature could compare to the Void Fox in terms of spatial attainment. Ling Longshui landed beside the three of them just like that. Xiao Linglong, you saved my life. Lin Xian said excitedly. Initially, they thought that they were going to die. They really thought that they were going to die. However, who would have thought that Ling Long Shui would be 1 second late and they would be dead? Yet, she really came in time. I owe you a favor. Now, we're even. Ling Long Shui glanced at Lin Xian and said simply. Then, her beautiful eyes looked at the myriad demon alliance. Void Fox, what is the meaning of this? The old man pointed at Ling Long Shui and said angrily. You all wanted to kill my sister first. What do you think this sovereign means? All right. You Void Foxes have chosen to side with the humans, right? Then, don't blame us Fei for falling out with you and questioning you. That's right. This was what Ling Long Shui and Ling Longyue were worried about. It didn't matter if they remained neutral, but once they helped the humans, it meant that they were enemies with the Myriad Demon Alliance. In the future, they would be in danger. In the beginning, it was Ling Long Shui who openly helped the humans attack the Fei. Now, it was Ling Long Shui. They had no way out, and it could be considered as giving them a reason. They didn't feel particularly conflicted. Then, let's see if you have the strength. Ling Long Shui's petite body blasted out a terrifying power, suppressing them. Do you think my Myriad Demon Alliance doesn't have a heavenly Dao realm expert presiding over it? From the horizon, a power that Lin Xian had never felt before surged at him. Was this the power of the heavenly Dao realm? Ling Long Shui had no plans on attacking them. Every second she delayed meant an additional second of danger. Let's go. With a flip of her hand, Ling Long Shui easily crushed the heavenly void crystal. The heavenly void crystal was completely destroyed, following which, all of them disappeared from their original positions. Since that was the case, they might as well shatter the void heavenly crystal. When the experts saw the void heavenly crystal shatter, their pupils constricted. Void Fox! Void Fox! I want all of you dead! Chapter 598. The members of the Myriad Demon Alliance did not expect that the human race would discover the heavenly void crystal in such a short time. Secondly, they did not expect that the human race would dare to come here and destroy the heavenly void crystal. Of course, without the help of the Void Fox, not only would they not be able to destroy it, but they would also all die here. Thirdly, they did not expect that the Void Fox would help the human race. Lin Xian and the others appeared in the wilderness. Ling Long Shui's expression did not look good. Sister, what's wrong? Ling Long Shui quickly ran over to support Ling Long Shui. Lin Xian and Murong Qing also hurried over. Ling Long Shui shook her head slightly. I'm fine. I just used too much spiritual power. She had used up a lot of spiritual power to open so many teleportation wormholes in Tianhua City. In order to let the people of Tianhua City move faster, she had set up more wormholes. It was not a problem for her to set up a few of them, but setting up dozens of them would definitely consume a lot of spiritual power, even if she was in the Great Void stage. Then, she had used the spatial attribute to transfer everyone's shocking attacks. They did not attack Lin Xian and the others. Instead, they attacked themselves. It seemed simple, but it had to be known that this was the power of dozens of Great Void stage cultivators. How powerful would it take to use the spatial attribute to transfer all their power? It was reasonable that she had used up all her spiritual power. This was the first time Murong Qing had carefully observed Ling Long Shui. This woman's beauty, temperament, and strength shocked her. Was she a Void Fox? Wasn't she too noble and beautiful? How did Lin Xian know such an existence? And it seemed that they had a good relationship. I'll support you. Lin Xian walked over. No need. Ling Long Shui said. This bastard just wanted to take advantage of her. Go away, you scoundrel. Ling Long Shui was protected by Ling Long Shui. She was only slightly weak, but she could still walk. Murong Qing opened her mouth slightly. This Lin Xian dared to take advantage of this woman? Are they that close? Lin Xian smiled bitterly and suddenly thought of something. By the way, what's the situation in Tianhua City? Ling Long Shui said, the demon race has completely invaded Tianhua City, but I opened dozens of wormholes. They have basically retreated." Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. Tianhua City could be abandoned for the time being. It could fall, but the civilians could not suffer too many casualties. Linglong Shui saved them. "Thanks. I'm just returning your favor," Linglong Shui said softly. Then, Linglong Yue brought them back to Tianhua City. They stood on top of a tall building and looked at the dense demon beasts and the members of the three major forces who were retreating. Lin Xian sighed softly. The city that they had lived in for so long still couldn't hold on in the end. But fortunately, the casualties of such a sudden attack didn't reach a terrifying level. It was beyond everyone's imagination. Logically speaking, the casualties of such a sudden attack should be almost the entire city of millions of civilians. Relying on the quick defense of the three major forces and the wormholes opened by Linglong Shui, they could safely retreat. If not for Linglong Shui, the three major forces wouldn't have been able to hold on, and millions of civilians would still have died. Tianhua City can only do this. Although the casualties are still very serious, fortunately, the heavenly void crystal has been destroyed. In the future, it will be difficult for the demon race to gather together for such a sudden attack. It can be considered to be stable for a while. Lin Xian sighed. "Thank you, Senior." Morong Qing cupped her fists towards Linglong Shui. Although they seemed to be about the same age, Morong Qing knew that the heavenly void fox and the demon race must have lived much longer than her. Moreover, she was stronger. There was nothing wrong with calling her senior. Linglong Shui looked at Morong Qing. The girls around Lin Xian were also beautiful. "It's fine," Linglong Shui said softly. "Go back and rest. This is all we can do for now. The three major forces have also retreated." Lin Xian said to Linglong Shui. Linglong Shui nodded and then looked at the wormhole in the distance. "Do we still need to stay?" Lin Xian nodded. "Stay. There are still many members of the three major forces who haven't retreated. Help fix the landing point at this point. I believe that the three major forces must have countless experts guarding the other side of the landing point. Even if the demon beasts rush in, they will be killed instantly when they go out. Moreover, they can't enter in large numbers. If we don't stay, the others won't be able to retreat immediately. Let's stay for a few more hours." Linglong Shui nodded and then they entered the wormhole together. When they reappeared, they were outside Lin and City. Outside Lin and City, many members of the three major forces had gathered. Most of the citizens had already rushed into Lin and City. It was basically over. In the end, the human race had lost. However, in some ways, this didn't meet the expectations of the demon race. They didn't lose too badly. Lin Xian. As soon as Lin Xian went out, he met Ling Ying, Han Chuxue, Miao Xiaomiao, Wang Xintong, and Bing Lingyue. They were very worried because they knew what Lin Xian was going to do. That place was too dangerous. Fortunately, they came back safely. Lin Xian walked over and said, "Go back and rest." "I'm fine." "Why don't you rest?" Lin Xian said, "Rest. Let's go together." They had done all they could. Now that they were going back to sleep, they felt relieved. Then they all walked away. "Lin Xian." A voice called out to him. "Uncle Qin." Lin Xian looked at Qin Feng in surprise. Qin Feng's clothes were a little tattered. It was normal. After all, he had participated in an intense battle. Qin Feng walked over and patted Lin Xian's shoulder. "I thank you on behalf of the citizens of Tianhua City and the three major forces. You have saved everyone once again." Lin Xian scratched his head in embarrassment. "It's not me. It's them." Qin Feng then bowed. "Thank you." Morong Qing said, "You all go and rest. Leave this to me." Qin Feng, the wormhole can still be maintained for a while. There must be many citizens who haven't made it in time or don't know the news. They might not even be able to come. Bring a team of people who are in good condition into Tianhua City again. Find the citizens who were left in the suburbs and bring them back. The safety of the citizens is the most important. Yes. Lin Xian looked at them and said, "Let's go and rest." Then they entered Lin and city. The sudden influx of millions of people in Lin and city was a little troublesome. Accommodation had become a problem for the time being. However, the three major forces would arrange temporary accommodations for them. As for their temporary accommodation, it was the Rose Paradise Hotel. This seemed to be the first time everyone was staying in one place. This feeling seemed to be pretty good. Chapter 599. Wang Xintong didn't have a family, so it didn't matter where they lived as long as they could follow Lin Xian. Miao Xiao Miao's grandfather also came to Lin and city. Lin and city was the city behind Tianhua City. If they retreated, they would definitely retreat to this city. Miao Xiao Miao was also staying here for now. Tomorrow, she would probably go back to live with her grandfather in the Lin and City Bounty Hunter Guild. Han Chuxue and Ling Ying didn't really care about it. They could always buy another house if they didn't have enough money. Lin Xian also needed to buy a new house. It didn't matter where Ling Longyue and Ling Longxue lived, they could live here for the time being. Little Xian. After telling Linya that he was safe, Linya ran over worriedly and hugged Lin Xian the moment he arrived at the entrance of the hotel. He didn't know when Xiao Runing had returned, but she had been staying with Linya all this time. Lin Xian smiled and patted Linya's back. "It's okay. Didn't you come back safely? It's broad daylight and there are so many people around. Aren't you afraid of being laughed at?" Linya then let go of Lin Xian and looked at everyone. Everyone quickly looked away as if they didn't know anything. I'm going to take a shower. I'm covered in dust and beast blood. It's so dirty. Ling Ying said and walked away. "I'm going too." Han Chuxue followed her. Then they all walked away. "Do you all want to eat after taking a shower? I'll get the hotel to prepare food for everyone." Linya said to them. "Then we'll have to trouble Sister Linya." Just like that, a day passed. Everyone slept very deeply. After fighting for a whole day, everyone was tired. What was happening outside had nothing to do with them. The next day, they played around in Lin and city and familiarized themselves with the place. This was where they would live in the future. Lin Xian was now a 5-star Lightning Tribulation Realm cultivator. Han Chuxue and Ling Ying had also reached 5-star Lightning Tribulation Realm. Miao Xiao Miao and Wang Xintong had successfully reached the Lightning Tribulation Realm. After all, they had killed too many beasts in a day. 7 days later, everything had basically returned to normal. Most of the people had settled down. Lin and city could be considered to have reached a peak. The three major forces wanted to praise Lin Xian, but Lin Xian didn't like to show his face in public. This matter was suppressed, and everyone returned to their own lives. Ling Longshui, Ling Longyue, and Bing Lingyue spent money to buy a 3-bedroom apartment. Just like in Tianhua City, they lived in the city. Their actions were equivalent to becoming enemies with the 10,000 Demon Alliance. They were no longer neutral and stood on the side of the human race. They didn't care. They also liked the life of the human race. A large part of it was probably because of Lin Xian. Han Chuxue lived in her own home in Lin and city. The Han family's business was very big. With the Han family's business in the city, they could easily get a house. Ling Ying was the same. As for Xiao Runing, she seemed to like being a teacher. She directly went to Lin and city's St. Brilliance Academy to be a teacher. Miao Xiao Miao continued to live in the Bounty Hunter Guild. Wang Chanqian and the rest, as well as the entire Gale mercenary group, were all here. Wang Xintong lived in the Sacred Palace. After all, she had Qin Feng as her master. It wasn't too troublesome. Lin Xian wanted to continue living with Ling Ying and the rest, but how should he put it? He was embarrassed. Did you know that feeling? He, Ling Ying, and Han Chuxue were well aware of it. However, the others, including Linya, didn't know. Previously, they lived together because of safety concerns. Now that they changed places, living together again? That didn't make sense. However, it wasn't a problem. Everyone lived close to each other. As for Lin Xian and Lin Ye, of course, they bought a house in Lin and City. It was beautifully decorated and cozy. Lin Xian didn't do anything this week. He just played with them. Actually, nothing had changed for them. It was just a change of location. Lu Yufan and Yi Yi's family also lived in Lin and City. The two girls also went to St. Brilliant's Academy to continue learning from Xiao Runing. Their strength was relatively weak. They were still in the learning phase. Murong Qing also stayed in Lin and City. She probably wanted to build a good relationship with Lin Xian or develop a business. Perhaps it was also because she liked this kind of life. She didn't have to work every day. For Lin Xian, the next few days were to develop his business. Now that Tianhua City was gone, he had finally calmed down. He had done all that he could, and he had a clear conscience. Another week later, Lin and City had completely calmed down. After all, half a month had passed. For Lin Xian, there wasn't much progress in this half a month. He was just playing around and taking advantage of girls. However, this damn Linglong Shui and Bing Lingyue's mission deadline was only a month away. This was very worrying. Lin Yu started working at the Art Xian Corporation, which was the Art Xian building. They had already recruited more than 100 employees, IT elites, etc. It was very easy to recruit employees at this time. This was because millions of Tianhua City citizens had entered Lin and City. Among these people, there were quite a few elites. This was considered a chance for Lin Xian's company. Lin Yu was very surprised. She hadn't seen Lin Xian for a while. In such a short period of time, he already had a company of such scale. At this moment, Lin Xian and Murong Qing were in one of the factories. A group of people were gathered there. The equipment had already arrived and the materials had been transported in large batches. Lin Xian was personally working while Murong Qing and the other workers stared at him without blinking. Earth Spirit Flower, Purple Water Caltrop Grass, and Jade Marrow Liquid were placed into the equipment. The equipment adjusted the grams and automatically divided the grams. Then, the final product was directly put into a small glass bottle. Lin Xian took it out. It was a colorless liquid. That's it? Murong Qing asked in surprise. Lin Xian nodded and then passed it to Murong Qing. Do you want to try? Murong Qing shook her head. Forget it. I'm afraid I'll be poisoned to death. Lin Xian. This was the first one to make it. Who knew if it would work? Damn. Earth Spirit Flower and Purple Water Caltrop Grass are ingredients for medicine. They are not poisonous. What are you afraid of? Lin Xian rolled his eyes at her. Okay. I'll try. Then, Murong Qing took it and drank a very small amount without any hesitation. Ding, your physique +10. Murong Qing's beautiful eyes suddenly lit up. How is it that you're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel? Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.